Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Dungeons & Dragons. We are the Digital Dragons, and we are here to play some Icewind Dale. Joining me today, we have got Tahko.
Hello, I am Tahko. Well, I'm not. I'm Highwind playing Tahko, Mood Killer.
We have got Vulwin.
Hi, I'm Ethernicast Gemini in chat, and I'm playing the Furblood Ranger, Vulwin Agar.
We have got Zagrax.
Hello, I am Zach, or we're in chat playing Zagrax.
We've got Irilyssa.
Hello everybody, I'm Jarard, aka Evil by Moonlight, in the chat, and I will be playing Irilyssa tonight.
And we have got Elora.
Hi, I am Trips, or Trip Starlike in the chat, and I'm playing Elora.
And I am Mordred, and I am the Dungeon Master, who is currently in charge of a whole bunch of dwarves. The bad kind of dwarves, not necessarily... Well, they're dwarves, so are they really that bad? That is the question for today.
Yeah.
Anyway, who would like to give us a rundown of what occurred last time?
Let's go.
I'll do it.
I see you okay.
I'm glaring at all of you.
Last time, we began the night in Bryn Shander with my Shan calling Zagrax a demon. And then we swiftly left with Swift Runner to meet Danica Ascendant, and Swift Runner thought that the snail ship was pretty cool. We arrived at the Sunblade Citadel to see a lot of Black Swords dead. We were taken into the entryway and met with Fel to get an update on the situation. Fel explained to us that there is two opposing factions for the Duragar. One under... I don't know how to say this name.
Zardarok.
Zardarok, the king of the Duragar, and the other one, Grandolfa. We went and met with Grandolfa, had a disgusting meal with gross drinks, and she's got a really cool miniature dragon, which happens to be the password for people that are under her, influence downstairs. So if we say Dragonette, they'll say blah 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 Dark Sun or something like that.
No one remembers.
Yeah.
You wrote literally something in the dark something.
I mean, honestly,
I'm looking at your notes right now.
Honestly, if they just say anything back other than just attacking us, I mean, that's a better sign than nothing.
Right.
And also, Elora had alone time with Iduash, and she came back and she's short and has blue hair.
Yep.
Hey, forgot about
The Dark Sun above was the response.
Yeah.
The dark sun. Yeah, I wrote the dark above in my notes, and I was like, I don't think
What
that was.
was
I think I wrote the Dark Sun retort something. I don't know.
It was pretty accurate.
Is that, lamp of yours just like a portal to the multiverse? We get a different one of you every time you go in.
I don't know. It's a lantern.
When Elora comes
It is
out, it's
weird
not
that-
the same Elora that went in.
It is weird that she asks our name every time she comes out.
Oh, that's funny.
Alright, so let's move ourselves over to the Citadel, which is where you guys currently are, as soon as I find it in the list of maps. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Got it. Found it!
Yay!
And you guys should be... Why'd that not work?
Hey, I drew the little mech thing and I forgot.
Yeah.
There should be a button I can press which moves everybody's map, but it doesn't, it just moves mine.
And for the audience, remember,
can
there's
see it.
tables everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's
Yes.
so
Yes,
many
there are.
tables.
I did add a little bit of furniture to some of the other rooms, but that was kind of one of the things that took up all of my time, and then suddenly I was like, oh, we're supposed to be starting now. Fantastic.
You have outdone yourself.
I think I put down a grand total of 2 beds, and then I was like, yeah, I'm out of time.
Didn't get to the tables, huh?
No. Hopefully we're done with the tables at this point. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Wait for the description.
Speaking of other furniture, there was an aspect of this room which I had forgotten about previously. So you can see the giant cogs. Yeah, we didn't discuss those at all. So the one which Irilyssa is currently standing next to is connected at the roof of the cage that you guys have been traveling in. So that basically moves the elevator up and down. The sideways cog and then the really big one that kind of stick out into nothingness. You can't currently tell, though if you went and had a look you probably could see it. And then this blue thing here is my attempt at putting a lever, which, can you see me pinging?
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
Oh, I think I know why I couldn't move people around, because I was in DM view. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that blue thing is a lever.
No, I can't see
nice.
it. But okay, I'll take your word on it.
I gotta use your eyes.
Well, it's too dark for me to see. Just the room is.
Oh yeah, it's probably because I'm standing down here, to be honest.
The door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys can't see anything. Never mind.
It's because I'm way over here.
Anyway.
Blind.
Last time, right at the end of the session, you guys fought a couple of the Duergar in exoskeletons. You found the workshop where one seemed to have been under construction. And that is where we left off. Cams are frozen. Oh, for Pete's sake. I don't know why that's such a big problem at the moment.
Well, it unfreezes and then freezes again.
Yeah, it's whenever I switch over to the Firefox tab, which is where the maps are shown.
It doesn't do that for any of your other streams?
No, because I don't use so many windows for other streams.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I'm currently pulling from two windows? Yeah. Pop-up window, which is the Discord cameras. Then there's the Firefox window, which is on my other monitor, which is the Twitch view of the map, so you can't see all the GM stuff.
Yeah.
And then that also pulls in the die rolls.
Awesome. Sounds like a lot.
I wish I had a bit more of a finessed way of doing it, but usually it works. It's just yell at me if the cam's freeze and I'll fix it. Anyway, so what would you like to do?
Explore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. So this is where they make these weird guys that are in their horrible pain cages.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm just gonna break everything in there.
Sure. Okay, go ahead and roll me a strength check or athletics, your choice.
Oh,
Okay, I'll do athletics because it's
what?
way higher.
What are you doing?
This is where they. You said those guys were in pain, right?
Yes.
Well, now we're gonna prevent more of those people from being in pain. We're gonna break their pain-causing stuff.
Yeah, I think we did enough of that
Smash.
here. Let's keep going.
And equipped with
Holy
his
crap.
mace. Tahko is an absolute wrecking ball in this place. You kind of lay into the exoskeleton, which was under construction, and then you kind of realize this is bigger and weightier. I'm going to use this instead, and it will kind of smash apart as you are using it as a maul to break everything else apart. And within about 2 minutes and a whole ton of noise, this room is just a ruin, and there's not even like a single screwdriver that's still holding there.
Perfect.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that feels better.
And you definitely
Okay, let's
feel
go.
a lot calmer. The sense of rage has temporarily at least left you.
Okay, well, if there's anybody else up here, they'll know. So that's no...
So we can be sure there's nobody left.
Nobody else in the whole freaking fortress knows we're here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they know to be
Maybe-
afraid.
Let me look around these corners so I can see in the dark.
Oh yeah, it's probably
Gonna
good.
give a little peek around this corner.
It just seems to be a long corridor.
Oh.
It's a long hallway.
Hmm.
I don't see anybody. I am whispering at this point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Want to be sneaky? with my jingle jangle armor, you know.
I mean, if you want to roll a stealth check, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
If you are attempting to actually be stealthy here, after the ruckus that Tahko made.
Yeah, I get it.
It is difficult to recognize who is noisier. The rampage that's going on in the workshop, or Irilyssa, like trying really unsubtly to look around the corner, and you kind of grab the wall as you're trying to do it, but you kind of forget that the wall is kind of moist and semi-frozen, and you immediately just slide down it in almost comical slow motion. Like you put out one hand trying to grab another part of the wall, but it's just as slick. And you just slide down this thing with a bit of a crash as you eventually land on the floor sideways.
Ow, 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 ow.
What were you trying to do there?
Yeah.
I was trying to be sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think either one of us are the sneaky ones.
Well, I guess it's pointless. It's all the ruckus Tahko was making.
Well, you can see out from here, it looks like.
And in fact, Vulwin, as you're looking over that way, you look parallel with the stronghold, and you can see that there is another fortification that juts out immediately opposite. You can just about see it in the haze. And then there seems to be something large on the face of the wall in the section between the two jutting out fortifications. We're talking about immediately to your east.
Yeah. All right. He's just going to take a look at this stuff over here then, as he's like continuing to kind of like just peek out the window.
Okay.
Well,
let's see if I can get this to
These aren't
work.
really windows, but you know what I mean.
Hey, I found a blue lever.
Yeah, it looks like
I'll pull it.
I'm going to try and do that. There you go. You can see where you're standing at the moment, the giant doors which you saw opening the first time you found Sunblight Fortress, which the dragon had emerged from. And as you pull that lever, Tahko, the western side of that door starts to
Oh, it starts
slowly
opening?
begin to swing open.
Oh, geez, no, I'll pull it back.
All
Put
right.
it back in previous
This
position.
is where they had the advantage on him.
And as you pull back hard on the lever, you can feel resistance, and it just keeps on going. It seems that whatever weight is behind this right now, you'd have to put a lot of weight in and possibly break the lever to stop.
I could do that. But
Give
no,
me an
I'll
athletics
wait.
check.
No, I'll wait, and then I'll close it again, and then I'll break
Okay.
it. Hey, I accidentally opened up the door.
Yeah, I can see. I can hear it.
Telling everybody else.
Oh,
Come
they're
look
down
at
the
this,
hall.
guys.
Continuing down this hall.
Okay.
Yeah, they're somewhere down this hall. You might wanna close
Leaving.
that.
So Zagrax,
Yeah.
Irilyssa, Elora, from somewhere in front of the rock immediately to your south, there is a very loud rumbling sound as something big and heavy seems to be shifting in the rock itself.
Oh God, what did Tahko do?
And the entire corridor that you're standing there is at this point trembling and shaking with the force of whatever this is.
Go, 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 go!
Where?
Whoa!
Irilyssa just took off running and ran off into this
Just
room.
runs after.
Okay.
Run away! That's your answer.
So you rush over to the other room, which is very similar to the one that you guys had just left. There is another of those elevator things, currently just a hole in the ground that goes down and down and down pretty much as far as you can see. There is another of those gear setups, not quite as intricate as the one in the first chamber, but in this room there's also a bunch of tools and things left around the big gear lever, as if this thing had been under repair recently. And there on the wall next to you, Zagrax, is another lever.
Oh, I think I can see Vulwin.
I'm not touching the lever.
Oh, actually, I do actually see you. Sorry, the
Hello!
Discord stuff was in the way. I'm like, we just like eyes kind of meet through like, like, oh,
And as you're standing there looking out over towards where Vulwin is, one of the screwdrivers that's just lying on the floor next to you, Irilyssa, scatters aside as if pushed.
Oh.
It looks like they're over at the other side now.
Oh.
I'm going to just kind of look at this screwdriver and then kind of act like I'm going to turn away, and then I'm going to cast Fairy Fire on this like area that's...
And as you turn to look away in your bluff, several oil canisters immediately behind, moving more close to where the axle of the cog is, get scattered aside, and you hear a ruffled, or a, not exactly a whispered, but like a stage whisper, "Shite!"
Very competent. I love it.
in the Duragar dialect of Dwarvish that you've heard before.
Okay.
But yeah, you go ahead and cast for Fairy Fire.
Yep.
Go for it.
20 Duragar just hiding.
Was it loud enough for me to hear?
Yes, all three of you would have heard this, especially like the screwdriver scattering, not so much, but like everything else being pushed aside, as if someone just like leapt backwards into just the midst of a bunch of tools. Yeah, you absolutely heard that.
Okay.
They rolled a natural 1 on their stealth check, just like Irilyssa.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Do you want me to just use my moonbeam that I have?
Yeah, fine. So, I thought you were going to bring it up on chat or in the
okay.
so I could see what it does.
No.
That is a dex save. Let's see if this guy makes it. You cast Fairy Fire and the whole area is now lit up with this shining, glimmering, kind of like a hunter's moon. Glimmer of silvery energy, but it doesn't highlight anything.
Whoops.
Alright. I'll say in Dwarvish, I'll say, alright, we know you're there. Come out.
Come out.
If it's all the same to you, I'd rather stay here.
Does the word dragonette mean anything to you?
I can't say it does, no. Should it?
Okay. What are you doing up here?
I fix things.
Okay.
I gave him a lot of work.
Well. Whoa. The bubbles.
One little... I forget, do either Elora or Zagrax speak Dwarvish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Elora
No.
understands it mostly. Like
Zagrax is like
conversationally.
looking at you when you're talking, and then looking somewhere in the general-ish direction of wherever the other guy's talking, and like absolutely confused.
You probably just assume he's visible for everybody else. You just haven't observed him yet. Like the old days.
Not that bad, but definitely has a look of like, am I supposed to be seeing something here? What's going on?
Where's the voice coming from?
Well, we can just leave him. Yes.
I suppose.
They're not really being violent, they're just fixing. What are you fixing? I'll say in Dwarvish.
I fixed the mechanics, the cogs, the door, the elevators, and as he says elevators, the smaller of the cogs spins into life, and you can hear something from far below starting to ratchet into life as well.
Are you fixing the door?
Yeah, when the big beastie came back, he broke part of it. Got a bit cold. So I shut it. Can't open it now.
Well, sounds like he's just helping.
Okay.
Has
I mean,
the
if you want to fight him, you can.
has the giant door from me messing with the lever opened all the way yet?
Yeah, it's opened, and then I assumed you pressed it again to start it closing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like halfway through shutting at this point.
Okay. Once it's shut, I'm actually going to try and break the lever off.
Okay. And I'll say that with your strength and your athletics capabilities, it's quite easy just to yank it down instead of left-right, and you're able to just snap this fairly solid steel lever off.
All right, good.
So you now have a fairly solid steel lever.
Awesome.
I'm gonna take a peek, like, as to look down the elevator shaft. I assume I see absolutely nothing.
Give me a perception check.
Watch this be like the greatest thing ever. Oh, come on, you're not connected? I got a 12. Plus
12.
So 12.
It's noisy. You can hear the mechanism above you whirling away, and you can hear something similar but much, much deadened from far below, but just darkness.
Oh,
Do you
sorry.
see anything down there, Zagrax?
No. Just hear the noise of it going.
I'm gonna, once it's closed, I'm also gonna take the lever that I ripped off and try and jam it into this big wheel. So if they do manage to fix it, try to open it again, it'll lock up the wheel.
Okay, go ahead and give me an intelligence check. Let's just see if you do it good.
I was going to ask him as well. When I'm looking at these gears that are here, do they seem like connected to all of them? Like the gear that's around the elevator to the gear that's in the middle here to the other one, or are they actually separate?
The small one that does the elevator is a separate mechanism, but yes, the ground, the horizontal lever is attached to the vertical one. Seems to be shifting horizontal axial power into vertical.
I want to make sure he just wasn't stopping everything with that.
No.
I didn't think so.
And at this point, the smaller gear for your side is also whirling, but you know that it's going down instead of up. Or at least you know it's going down. The other side doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah, you think this will jab this up pretty good?
Oh.
Yeah, Tahko, you just put it through two of the slats and just like, good enough.
Yeah.
When it turns, it might jam.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
honestly, we'll buy them some time trying to figure out where the hell that lever went.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably just throw it out the window too, but whatever. They'd still have to fix it once they get it. Well, let's see what the others are doing. Hopefully not dead.
So you guys head on over to the other side. What are the right side team doing?
Are we going to do anything over here? Are we done?
Yeah, they're awfully quiet.
I think we're done.
So we're just kind of like,
Elora's
So,
like not
Tahko
that
and
keen to kill
Vulwin,
everyone.
from ahead, from around the corner, you see this silvery light. A very dim silvery light shining out, which intensifies as you round the corner.
I assume it's familiar. Does it moonbeam?
It is not familiar, actually. I don't think you've seen this before. But it's like a fairly low intensity, like hunter's moon. So it's very it's not very bright, but it's silvery light that just bathes this whole room, or the portion around this gear mechanism in this silvery light, like a moon was shining on there.
What's all the glowing in here?
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody over there, but they didn't attack us first, so we're just gonna leave them alone.
Okay. So what do these mechanisms do?
And as you say, what do these mechanisms do? The smaller the gears, you start seeing the cage actually emerging up to your level slowly.
Wait,
Oh.
it's the lift, not the elevator.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
look, it's the elevator.
I'll get ready to smash whoever's inside the lift.
Okay.
Is
You
there
strike a
inside?
frightening fighting pose, and as the lift emerges into the light, the roof of it coming up seems to be empty.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure that.
Oh. I'll still
Fine.
swing into it. I'll
Give
still
me an
swing it.
attack roll.
With disadvantage or no?
Sure.
Well, let's see.
But yes, roll with disadvantage.
11?
Nothing.
Okay. Do I clang off of something that was well defended, or just woof?
Just woof.
Alright. Nothing here.
Wait, why did you swing at nothing?
Because they could be invisible in there. That's what they do.
I mean, when
Oh,
we came up,
that's what that disembodied voice was.
Wow, you're smart. This whole thing could have been packed with Duragar. Hey, another lever. What's this one do?
you know,
You
I don't
press
know
everything?
if you noticed, but
I'm not going to pull this one. I'm just going to tear it apart.
It looks very similar to the other one that you saw, and you go to push down to break it, and you hear a sharp intake of breath from somewhere to your north. Like,
What? Why? What's this one do? Talky voice.
that took me hours to install. You have no idea how hard it is to get a connecting mechanism in solid stone.
Alright, I heard a guy talking. What did he say?
He said it took him a long time and he doesn't want you to mess with it.
Oh, okay. I break it.
What?
You hear something which you can't understand, which sounds a lot like muttering.
Why did you do that?
Because it probably opens up that door just like the other side does.
I'm
And
just
I
trying
don't
to
want-
shut the door so the cold would go away.
Well, I don't want the dragon to be able to fly out of the door.
I
I don't
guess.
think that door is going to stop that dragon.
Yeah.
Well, it might slow it down. I don't know.
I think it
Basically, I plan to just destroy pretty much everything until they give up.
Oh,
It didn't actually just move. I'm just trying to get under it.
oh, okay.
Can I
And-
actually
Vulwin,
utilize? Sorry.
you not so much hear as feel something seeming to move in your close environs.
Like brush past me, kind of deal, or
Yes.
Because so I am gonna try to snatch out and grab whatever is there.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
All right. I mean, that might be a bit freaky to me, even though I've heard the disembodied voice and clearly I know what's going on. That's still like
Yep.
a little uncomfortable. Dexterity check.
Yep.
Sorry, that might be a dexterity save, not a dexterity check. It should be the same numbers, right?
And I just managed
Actually,
to
they aren't
close
the
the
same
chat
numbers.
window somehow. How the heck did I do that?
Yeah. let me make sure these are the same numbers, because that was a save. So let me just hit this and see what
I
happens.
broke the handle of the chat window.
Are they the same bonuses?
No.
They're
Save
not
below
the same
20.
bonuses, in fact.
I don't know.
No. Okay. Yeah, the other one is like, yeah, those are very much not the same bonuses. Okay, so I have the 12. It's a 12.
Yeah, with your dex check, something seems to be like trying to get past you, and you just put your hand out, and you feel what feels like a a clothed shoulder at like slightly below your shoulder level, probably a foot or so. Actually, how tall are you?
Oh, I think I'm like 6'7", is it? I'm shorter than the tall people, but
So it's probably about 2 foot lower than your own shoulder. You kind of feel a shoulder.
oh,
You're still taller
okay.
than the average bear.
Yeah, but very short for a furbolg. But yeah, I just snatch up like, where are you going?
Arr! What language are you speaking?
Well, I've heard Dwarvish, or something like Dwarvish, so I'll be saying it in Dwarvish.
Oh, you know Dwarvish now?
He's never
Going
been
back to my
around.
workshop.
Right, where's your shop?
It's around the corner.
You can see like Vulwin's face just kind of like, uh-oh, kind of deal like, uh-oh. And what do you intend to do?
Get
In
some
that
tools to
workshop.
fix things. That's what I do.
You make sure that everything's operating up here. The lifts, all of that.
It's in the job title, mate. I'm a mechanic.
All right, you got any direct lines of communication with those below?
No, kind of like it up here. It's quiet, usually.
And I will roll insight just to make sure he's not,
Go for
lying to me. 22.
Wow.
Just see what he says. You get absolutely no hint of deception. In fact, you get more of a hint of resignation.
Oh.
He really does just want to be left alone up here. All right, look, you're gonna have a lot of work to do, but we were never here.
Who
What
was
are you
never
bluffing?
here?
And
are you
he
blathering on
will
about?
somewhat hesitantly release his grip.
And you just hear the scuff of boots rapidly running north, and then around the corner and disappearing.
I hear it.
angry.
I hear it. He just like kind of walks up to the rest of the group and is like, I give it about 10 seconds before there's a lot of swearing coming from the other room.
Wow. Why did
10,
you
9,
you had him? Why
8.
did you let him go?
Because he doesn't care about all of this.
So, all right. All right.
You don't have to kill everybody, Tahko.
Well, it was
He won't
like
impede us in any way.
all right.
Also,
Dwara,
Elora-
damn it! You all hear that.
There it is. By the way, that was his workshop, Tahko.
So this is the
Wow.
guy that puts people in those machine cage things, right?
I mean, as
Makes
far as I
sense.
know, they're themselves.
Well, that sounds awful. We should kill this guy because he tortures people.
Probably just
They were
following
just
orders.
enraged de regard inside of a machine. I don't.
No, she said that they had like a ton of pain because of that machine.
Yes, they were absolutely in pain, but I'm not going to blame it on the person that's making them. He's just doing his job.
But doing his job is causing horror for other people, right?
I don't know.
We just
I don't
beat
know.
the ever-living crap out of all of them, so you want to go and kill the guy who's causing our any pain.
I'm not necessarily saying kill him, but we really got to
Whatever.
establish that that's not a good thing to do. I don't care if he's just following orders that he's given. He's still like torturing his own people. That doesn't really sit well.
Sure. Now look, if you're gonna go kill him, then go kill him. Like we need so many floors to go through, Tahko.
Why are you just
These-
assuming I'm going to kill everybody? I don't necessarily.
You just said you were going
What
to go
What
exactly
are you-
were you?
Yes,
Zagrax
Tahko.
just gestures to the lever he just.
As
broke
far as
off
I know,
with
he's
the string.
I mean, he could have been a violent combatant, but you guys talked to him, so I guess we're good.
Yeah, did you say the secret phrase?
That didn't mean anything to him.
Oh, great. So,
Okay, so
mm, He's not even a shaky ally. He's just an enemy non-combatant. Great. All right. We're going
Like
to
I
write this
said-
Maybe
cage
kill
down?
civilians too.
Like I said, he's not going to pose any threat.
I mean, maybe.
Just wants to do his stuff up here.
Keep in mind that part of his actions still led to the anarchy in the 10 towns. He
Yeah.
still was
If that were
working
the
on the
case, then we
things
should
that allowed for the dragon to go out.
Yeah, and if
I
that
don't-
were the case, we should kill every Duergar in this place. Because
All
they're
right.
all what happened, what made this dragon. Right?
Now you're
None of
talking,
them
yeah.
could be not held responsible.
I'm not going to kill everyone. A lot of these people are just trying to live.
I mean, a lot of them are, but so are we. They struck first. I'm not saying we have to. I'm just saying if they ever do an aggressive act again, it's going to be held on us for not doing our jobs correctly. If this mechanic goes on to make a new dragon and release it,
Then
It'll be
stop
our fault.
asking me for saying you didn't say I was gonna kill it when you literally said like maybe a minute ago let's go kill him. So are we gonna go down into the depths or are we gonna stay here?
And as you're talking, the gear whirls to life again, and the cage that's been settled there for a little while starts to descend once again.
does this thing just always move?
Nuts.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if
Looks
we're
like it's on
going,
a
we
cycle.
better go.
All right, let's go to the other side then. Let's
Yeah,
catch
let's
the
say
next
this
one.
is the, I thought this is the elevator we're not supposed to be on. The one that's not controlled by Grandalfa.
I don't
Right.
think anyone's controlling either of these.
You are right though.
Let's go.
Yeah. Look,
Also-
that's one Duergar. Doesn't matter.
Also, Elora, are you shorter?
Oh, am I? Oh yeah. She like looks up. Irilyssa. Yeah, I guess so.
And your hair is... Well, it's quite lovely, but
She's like
I was
goes
getting
like
used to
that.
the yellow.
Oh yeah, it's that's really cool. I've never seen hair like that before.
I would just like to point out that Zagrax actually was the first to notice, because when she popped out, he was screamed like and was like, "Who the heck is this person?"
You did, yeah. Hmm. I guess Inuash thought I should go back to my, my normal size. Normal.
You're gonna say natural hair color. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Sorry, what?
Alright, so I'm just going to say that you all gather in the western chamber, and eventually the cage comes back up again and
Okay.
sits on your level.
Yeah. Well, anyways, any Duergar that stand in our way, we cut down to get to the dragon. All the rest of them, leave them be for now.
All right. So when this thing comes up, are the bars part of the cage, and do they drop down or up?
I've been wondering that as well. So what happens is there's actually a cage here. Normally there wouldn't just be a black hole that plummets into nothingness. And
Yeah.
it like clicks into a mechanism which makes the door, which faces north, slide open.
Okay. All right.
Then the platform itself is very basic. It's basically just a platform, so you can put your hands out on the wall if you really wanted to.
Fun.
But it does
Well-
have 4 bits of iron which are seemingly attached to a chain that disappears above.
Okay, I'll wedge into the back.
Okay. So how are you
Laura,
getting on
are
this
you-
thing?
Are you able
Say hi to
go back?
Inuash for me.
I can do it one more time.
Well, let's
We'll
hope
just
you-
squish in then. There's probably room.
I'm smaller now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You stand in the center. We'll smush you.
Okay.
There's no no roof on this thing, right? It's just a platform.
It's just a platform, yeah.
Okay. I'm
I'll
gonna
say
say
that you
arguably we
can.
could just pick up Elora and put her
Hoist
on our
her up.
shoulders or something.
Hold her.
And then
I mean,
the cage
so-
again
so
starts to
whatever.
ka-ching, 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 as it goes down until you're eventually left
Ah!
I got really dark again.
Whoa.
in the room with Swift Runner kind of looking at you guys, and several of the black swords, most of them poised looking out the various arrow slits in this room. They kind of glance back at you as
Hey.
you
Well, that
yeah.
worked here.
Yeah, catch the next one.
Killed those Duragar up there.
Well, almost all.
Almost all. There's
Yeah,
one.
all of
There's
us
a
that
fixer up
attacked
there.
us.
So, did you find anything except Duragar?
Levers. Broken levers.
Levers that opened the hatch for where the dragon came out. Presumably.
I see.
It won't be coming out anytime soon.
Yeah. There's another lift
Oh.
up there, but don't go down that one.
So the dragon has its own door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll
Even-
explain a lot.
For some reason, I'm imagining a wee little cat flap, but with a dragon going through it.
Mm.
That would be kind of funny.
Could be very
Well,
cute.
Except
Hey,
for the
before-
fact that it's a freaking laser-breathing dragon.
Hey, before this thing takes us down, does anybody at all know why this place has a heartbeat?
Oh,
I've been meaning to ask about that. It's really unnerving.
Yeah.
It has a
Elora
what?
looks like she's about, or she goes, oh, like she's about to say something, and then she doesn't because she looks at her surroundings and there's a lot of people listening.
It's just us. It's just us. You're like sardined in there.
Well, because are we going down, or are we still like
We're still
in this
here.
area?
If,
Okay, then yeah, she's not.
if you wait a bit longer, it'll start going down.
Okay.
As well, I'll just sit there sardine canned in for an awkward amount of time.
And it does feel like a really awkward amount of time. Like you're kind of, is it gonna go? Yeah, is it? And then suddenly, ka-ching, 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 ka-ching.
So no answer. Okay, bye.
How many stops do you think this thing makes?
Mm.
Hopefully just one more.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching.
Whee!
And then this time it comes to a stop with the shudder, and the cage opens.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Is this place? It looks like it's
Yay.
decently lit. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Should read some stuff.
Oh, by the way,
Let's hold on, Tahko.
The elevator
Yeah, yeah,
shaft
yeah.
terminates in this room. A large stone wheel next to the iron cage turns constantly.
Go ahead, Elora.
oh, thanks. She's like waiting. Iroash said that there might be a really great power here, maybe so powerful that it could free him. So I'm gonna go try to find it.
Oh, that sounds like
Oh.
fun.
And
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
that's he doesn't know why everything is moist and there's a heart, but that
Oh.
could be part of it.
And
Could
you did
be.
notice, as you were coming down this shaft, the heartbeat was getting louder. Definitely louder. And as you breached into this room, it's the loudest that you've heard yet. The heat down here is also a lot greater, where previously there were little bits where the walls would start to refreeze, especially on the top level where you guys were, where it's basically out, open to the elements. But in here, the walls are just dry, and there's not a hint of ice.
I'll try not to smash anything magical.
Is it
Yeah,
loud enough
don't.
that I can hear the heartbeat now?
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
assuming that I couldn't hear it on the upper
I
floors.
really, really wish I had gotten an answer about that.
Oh, heartbeat. I can hear it now.
To me, I think if Iroash doesn't know, I don't think the Black Swords are gonna know.
Yeah.
And no, you did get an answer, and there was just a shaking head with a couple of worried glances around.
So Zagrax would, like, finally, since he can hear the heartbeat, like, walk up to a wall and put his ear to the wall. I assume it's just heartbeat.
Yeah, you can feel it. The tremors of the beat. Like,
Oh. Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's like
very unnerving.
it's like the mountain is pregnant.
I don't know about that.
What?
Or it's like alive.
I don't know about that.
At all, like whatever you just said.
I don't think those things are possible.
I don't like either of them.
Well, let's go find out what it is. I only see one door. Who wants
There's
to boot it open?
I'm gonna say attempt to open the door.
it swings open, and there are two Duragar currently with their backs to you, looking through slits on the other side of the
Well,
room.
there's only one door that. Oh, there's only one door. Yeah. If I can see.
they looking at?
I'm gonna say Zagrax opens the door, and like the second he sees Duragar, he just freezes and that's it. He just stands there frozen.
Okay.
Vulwin's gonna kind of like look around the corner, look at them, and just kind of like nod, like nod his head in their direction. And I think I have to move my character up to peek around, but yeah, he's gonna kind of crouch down and try to sneak up on them.
Okay.
And peek around the corner to the left and the right.
If you're sneaking in, give me a stealth check.
Okay. 23.
You are fairly sure that you're being very quiet.
Okay. And you just see him, like, after doing the nod thing, he, like, starts, walking up to the Duragar that's in front of him.
So Zagrax just kind of like is still just frozen, like, I'm not moving because I suck at sneak. We just established this.
And he's just gonna assume that somebody's following. And he's gonna sneak up on this Duragar here. And he's going to basically like grab basically around the neck kind of thing, and he's got his weapon ready to like retrieve and like stab him. And as he grabs him, attempting to grab him, he's gonna kind of turn the Duragar towards the other one, and he's gonna say, "Dragonet."
That's a sun above, dark sun above.
No.
And then he'll have the Yeti's tooth come out of his hand, but like away from this thing's back. And I don't know if anybody, because I turned, I don't see anybody having walked out as well. And I'm just like, what? He's going to release, and he's gonna like a little louder, just be like, "Dragonet."
Shite.
To the other one that
dark sun above. We're both dark sun aboves.
Oh,
good.
well,
You'll
hello
live.
there.
Are we good?
Oh.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
happen
we're
to have
good.
a spare pair of underwear, would you? Sorry about that.
Vulwin, you scared him.
Just a precaution. They were guards. Could have given our position away. But what about you? You guys just stood back there. What about the other one? I'm not two people.
But the second Zagrax starts moving, you're just like, you just hear him everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
And this one kind
Same
of
with
backs up
Irilyssa.
into the corner. You do notice that both of these have heavy crossbows, as well as their usual Duragar armor, war pick, and a shield. And the shields are just kind of leaning up against the wall, but they do have the heavy crossbows in their hands.
he says Zagrax is keeping his back to the wall, but also like getting ready if this door to the north opens to like bonk things that.
You
come
said they
through the
were
door.
looking out somewhere?
Like peeking through the wall or something?
Yeah, there's actually arrow slits looking to the left. They're not really shown on this side.
Okay. What do you keep watch on from here?
It looks out into the mines. And as you look out the arrow slit, you can see it's dark. Like, that area is not lit, but you can see a myriad of tunnels that just disappear into the rock beyond.
Got it. So this is what she meant. You guys protect this place.
We are guards, aye.
Wonderful.
You never know what kind of beasties come out of the mines. Gotta be careful.
Well, I'd hope you'd have some idea if you lived down here.
Well,
You wouldn't mind.
the latest creatures we've seen in there have an appetite for metal.
Like,
They'll just eat your armor straight off your back.
Are they? We've run into something like that before.
yeah, I don't want to remember
News.
that.
Oh no, I don't think it's a news. It's more like a big ant or something.
What?
At least that's what I've heard. Haven't seen one myself. Anyway, you with Grandolfa? And he says that with a
Tentatively.
lowered tone.
Yeah, she gave us passage down here.
Oh, I know that word.
Oh, thank God. Good. Zagrax in with the dragon repairing it. We were worried that we wouldn't be able to make a move with his pet back.
You must have to do extensive repairs. It lost a whole foot.
Good. Whoever did that.
Zagrax
Deserves
just
it.
like leans over to Irilyssa.
What's going on?
Yeah, that guy
Oh.
over there, probably the one responsible for it. And he's pointing to Zagrax.
As Zagrax looks utterly baffled what the heck's going on because he doesn't understand any of the words that are being said.
And this Duragar just kind of nods in your direction, Zagrax.
Was that a good nod or a bad nod?
I don't think it's going to
Oh,
stab you.
they said that you single-handedly broke the foot off the dragon.
Well, I didn't say that much.
I don't even got hit. I didn't even hit the dragon once.
Well, that's not how history's going to remember it.
That's true.
That's sure.
We gotta build you up, Bright One.
Well,
Yeah, Bright One, lead the
Do
way.
Do they know what the heartbeat is?
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
I'll ask them about the heartbeat.
That's right.
What is the
You
beating
can't
heart?
understand.
what? Why is it beating?
It's the heart of a red dragon. It's at the center of the forge.
Of a red dragon?
Aye,
Oh,
Why?
because it's hot.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
I'll lean to Zagrax. I don't know what it is, but it sounds interesting.
It's the heart of a red dragon in the center of their forge.
Just the heart,
Yes,
and it's what powers this whole place.
it's what powers their forge.
How
Ah,
does one get a heart of a red dragon?
I don't know, but we're about to.
Yellow red dragon, I guess.
The same way that you get the heart of a white dragon.
Or you
Their
just,
hearts still beat outside of their...
Well, how do you do that?
I don't know, but we're
Dragons
going to
have-
steal that heart.
Zagrax, please, for one moment, just put your thinking cap on and think about how they would do that.
Yeah, you'd have to kill it, but how do you even do that?
How is it still beating?
Magic?
Dragons
I
are
don't know.
weird.
But that's
okay.
that's probably what'll get Itawash free.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe.
I would imagine the heat of a red dragon's heart would be able to.
Maybe he'll eat it and become
free him.
stronger.
I don't know.
He can't eat it. He's in prison.
I don't know.
Well, you're the
Oh.
one that said that Itawash needs this magical artifact.
Well, I don't know if that's it. It could be that. It could be something else.
I mean, even if he doesn't use it, we might be able to use it to kill, Auril. I imagine if it can power a Duragar forge, it could probably kill her. Plus,
Right.
then they won't have a forge to make this dragon anymore, so stealing it's number one.
Maybe it could just heat up all the winter, you know?
Yeah!
It's that warm.
I don't
Power
know
up a
how
town
big
with it.
this heart is, so we might.
It doesn't matter, I could probably
Uh,
carry it.
And
Okay.
as you guys are talking, you see the two dwarves. Their eyes are just following each person as they're talking, and you can see the southern one, like his eyes starting to narrow a bit more, and eventually he turns to his partner and he just goes, "Ai sugra mi korante, nai sora bareko." And they start whispering between the two of them in a language you do
Can I?
not understand.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna turn to the Duragar to the right of me and be like, in Dwarvish, by friends wanna know if it's dark the rest of the way through here or if it's there's still light along the path.
Zakra na krea. He was just saying that your forge apprentices talking about heart like that. What was the question again? I've totally forgotten.
Yeah, is it dark out there? I mean, by some standards,
No,
we don't really see in the dark well.
we do, but we still get bloody cold, even down here. Brazier should be burning throughout. Except
Great.
maybe in the mines.
Good to know.
Okay.
Well, he's just gonna like kind of step over and like kind of step in front of the door, kind of look back at the Duragar, kind of point towards the door,
No,
and be like,
wait, before you go into there, there's a number of beasties in the next room. One of them, it's like a big mushroom, puffs out spores.
Oh no.
You want to be careful of that one. Evil
Is that
thing
the way
it
to
is.
the workshop?
it's just outside of this place.
No, as soon as you go through the door there, it's the throne room. Stay away from the big chair.
The big chair. All right, big chair. Spores.
Tahko, stay away from the
Don't
big chair. I'll say in
Breathe
common.
the spores,
Why?
or don't get them on
Because
you.
there's apparently a mushroom thing that'll kill you.
What?
There's a mushroom spore thing.
I like big chairs. I like to sit on them.
Yeah, that's too bad. It'll
Unless
kill
you want to die, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, breathe, touch, just stay away from it.
What if I just
Stay
throw
away.
stuff far away?
That thing
No.
is pure evil. It'll kill you
Okay.
as soon as it blinks at you.
Oh boy.
Blinks.
So don't look at it?
Yeah, a chair blinks.
I mean, it's captive at the moment, and the captors will be none too pleased to see you either. Just be careful in there. We'll stay guard out here. Make sure that no one comes from, above.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
there
you.
will be one person who might come from above. She's tall, angry. Just let her through.
She
Tall,
looks like him.
angry. Very tall, angry. Okay.
Yeah, if she shows up, you should be looking. Just point towards the door and don't look aggressive.
Right. I think we can do that.
Good luck.
Same to you. And if we hear loud sounds of fights from the forge, we'll come running.
Great.
Good luck.
Your queen depends on it, I suppose.
Oh, should we wait for Swift Runner?
Nah.
He's gonna turn to the rest of the Vulwin's gonna turn to the rest of the group like, yeah, apparently this leads right to the throne room or something. So
Well,
maybe
let's
we
go.
should wait. There's
Okay.
as we were
I'm
saying,
also-
there's some kind of like angry mushroom chair thing that we're not supposed to look at, touch, go near, breathe and/or touch.
You sure
Don't-
this
don't
doesn't
even
have
look
some
at
kind
it.
of secret we're not supposed to know about?
I don't know. Apparently, it has. It can look at you. You can look at it. Like it has an eye or something. It's a little unclear. I didn't fully comprehend what they were saying.
The
It's a
mushroom.
little
with
hard to
eyes?
understand.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be watching these two Duragar. Can they Does it seem like they're understanding what we're saying while we're talking in common?
Roll me an insight check.
24.
Wow.
They're nodding and smiling along as you guys are talking, but the nods and the smiles are in completely weird moments, like when you say "and." No.
Okay.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't completely trust these Durganet group folks.
Well, you shouldn't, in the sense that they're opportunistic, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
every group of Duragar here are. That she did say that if they saw us failing, that they'd turn on us. So
Yeah,
their
that's
loyalties aren't very. Their loyalties are fickle.
But the big boss is just on the other side of this door.
I guess. Throne room. I don't know.
Honestly, this is pretty fast. I didn't expect to be done so soon. I figured just take like, I don't know, another hour or two.
You got a long way to go. There's a whole dragon down here being repaired.
Yeah, it's not the workshop.
Oh, it's just the throne. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought he would. Okay. Figured just be sitting there.
And
and read
I'm
all
going to
something.
reiterate to you, Tahko. don't sit in the big chair.
Yeah, don't look at it either.
Or
Just
also die
avoid
'cause
it.
of a scary mushroom.
Look, I don't understand exactly what they were saying. Even in my best understanding of Dwarvish, that doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. All right.
Yeah. We've survived worse mushrooms, I'm sure. Probably eaten worse too.
Actually, I'll say in Dwarvish, you two should probably pretend like you've been knocked out, or you're unconscious, just so that they don't suspect you if they see you just standing there.
Oh, we can disappear if that happens. They won't know
Okay.
we're here.
Anyways, they're expecting Swift Runner as well, so I guess we've got no way but forward.
Okay.
Conterexicaro, Miziare. Aye, Zagra. My friend said the big mushroom makes dead things live again.
Oh.
And there are
Oh.
several dead things in there with him.
Is there like another way we can go? This is horrible sounding.
There is another elevator you could take if you'd rather go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
This go ahead.
Their language is so weird, it completely changes, it seems.
they're speaking a secondary language, Tahko.
What?
One that
They
we
have
don't
two?
understand. Yeah, apparently.
Weird.
Um,
I'm gonna say in Draconic. I'll just say to
So, yeah, we have multiple languages too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I grasp that correctly, did they just say that the dead becomes alive around that mushroom?
Yeah.
well, we have someone who can do that too.
Do
Yeah,
Really?
but
Irilyssa will point at Tahko.
Yeah, but
I can't do that.
What do you
Point
mean
at
you can't do
Zagrax,
that?
actually.
Oh.
so yeah, I don't
Irilyssa
know.
knows-
Yeah, I really don't know what the hell that means.
Like, in what sense bring them back to life? Bring them back to life, or
From
bring them back
dead.
walking around?
Well, I mean, either dead or you're alive, right?
No,
or you're undead.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
it's not that fair. I wouldn't want to be undead.
Okay, well, there's apparently a lot of dead in the other room, and we should probably just
Kill them all.
pass this place. Or yes, you could kill the dead Tahko if you want to really do that.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't spend much time in there.
I don't know why they're keeping a mushroom that brings back dead people and is really angry or something. But we should probably just break it all.
Did I hear that right, saying that it's held captive? Did they say something about captured? I thought I heard.
Yes, it is captured.
Okay, well, whatever, they captured it, it's held captive. I don't know entirely.
Is it smart?
I don't know. I didn't ask if the
Ask.
chair mushroom is smart. And he's looking a little like
Maybe we
peeved
could
by
free
the-
it and it'll join us.
No, it is. They said it is like the one word I need to underline for you, Tahko, is evil. They said it is very evil.
I mean, is it?
They said it was very evil, and this is the Duragar saying this, and we thought
All
they
right, all
were
right.
evil.
I mean, I'll have Zagrax check to see if it's evil. Zagrax, are they evil?
Like, now isn't the time for any kind of morality and trying to pass judgment. Let's go.
I'll just when Tahko says that, Zagrax just kind of stare at him and go, "Oh," and then I'll use Divine Sense.
I could do that.
What's the range?
60 feet.
But it's
That's
really
not
just
behind
saying
total
whether they're
cover,
like
so it's
a
not like
demon or
that.
something, right?
I really want the walls are evil. Whoa.
Give me a second. This can take me a bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good. I did something.
Yeah, Zagrax looks at his, like,
Zagrax goes blind with the evil
No.
radiating from the next
Oh,
room.
That would be so
Zagrax
funny.
looks at his little, like, motion tracker, but it's the evil tracker from, like,
Yeah.
Alien, and it's just like, bloop.
Yeah, it's more like you know the type of the thing. You don't know whether it's actually good or evil.
Really?
Yeah.
It's weird now.
The wording
Mhm,
of
it
it's
is weird.
strange.
Yeah, it just senses this stuff. Celestial
Yeah, so it doesn't
finger.
actually sense alignment.
Mhm.
Specific types like celestial or fiends. Give me a second. I will send you a message as to what your divine senses glean.
Hey.
Give me a second.
It is
Carry on
kind of
talking.
entertaining. It is kind
Oh,
of
okay.
entertaining, actually, that you can just, like, detect something in front of you. It's like, hey, do I think that's an undead, celestial, or fiend? I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use that power to see through their invisibility?
I would assume not, unless the celestial fiends are undead. But
That's why that's what I can do.
Well, you do know the
well,
type.
I do know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of me. Do
Oh,
Yeah, you
interesting.
would know if they're invisible, but only if
Yeah.
it's a celestial fiend
Yeah.
or undead.
And interesting, I reread that. Apparently, you do know the type.
Mhm.
Neat.
I thought you didn't.
You know the type of whether it's celestial, fiend, or undead. Not you.
Yep.
You couldn't say
It's
it's
just
a
not who.
vampire. You just know it's undead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely death. Come and find this door.
Ah, cool. All right.
Oh.
Doesn't seem to contradict anything of what you said they said.
Gross.
So, yeah, if we go in there, we should be on our way. Don't bother with anything and just figure out where to go next.
Avoid mushroom. Got it.
Is there anything like nice and throwable in this room that I could pick up and just ready to chuck? Actually, I think I still have javelins. I could grab one of those. Yeah.
No. Otherwise, no.
Well, I'm not taking a lot of chances. And he's going to take his scarf that he's got on and kind of bring it up, around his nose and kind of like tie it back a little bit.
Okay. Noted. Noseted.
Thanks for noticing.
All right. So, what are you doing?
Are you ready?
I guess we've been waiting for
Swift Runner.
Swift Runner. Is she showing up yet?
Yeah. So, eventually the thing just. Sorry, I did not realize you were actually waiting for her.
Yeah. With all of our talking, we might have
And then Swift
Doesn't
Runner
have
appears,
time.
looks through the
Hey.
door, sees you guys standing there. Ah, you it? It's a Durga there. Careful!
Yeah, there's
Yep.
two of them, and they're with what's her face.
They did the dragonette thing.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There's an evil mushroom in the next room that raises the dead, and we're apparently not supposed to, mess with it because it's super evil or something.
Yeah, don't look
Also,
at it
chair is
either.
bad.
Don't look at evil
Yeah.
mushroom.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there might be spores or something. It wasn't entirely clear. Just don't. Just don't.
Understood.
All right, with that out of the way, who wants to go first?
If we're ready, we can
Zagrax.
You're both
Yeah.
at the door. Go for it.
I can take care of the door.
Hold
All right. So you opening the door?
I'm actually gonna, before I open the door, I'm actually gonna cast Shield of Faith on myself.
Okay.
So it lasts for 10 minutes. Hooray! And then Zagrax, like, first it takes a second, like, just closes his eyes for a second, and then opens them, and he has a slight glow around him now. Not like anything like light producing or anything, but just kind of like an aura thing.
Well, here we go.
And
Yeah.
I will open the door.
Should still be lights ahead.
Okay.
You open the door.
So what's in this room? Is it full of tables?
All
It's
right,
very
give me a
open.
second.
Full of mushrooms.
The ceiling of this hall arches to a height of 30 feet. Stone steps lead up to a semicircular dais on the south wall. Atop the dais is a misshapen throne crudely carved out of black crystal. Small, crackling flames burn in braziers that occupy the room's corners. Slumped near the east wall is a tall bipedal fungus creature. Luminous spores float in the air around it. A savage, white-furred biped has torn off one of the creature's arms and is holding it, while 4 other white-furred creatures covered with fungal growths try to capture the floating spores in jugs.
Close the door. No.
I was gonna say Zagrax can't see any of it, so he'll like open the door, kind of not see.
I can only see like
up, see it, like turn the corner, look, and then just kind of like back up into the room.
So creatures that have the spores on them, like in them, are trying to catch more spores?
Yes.
creatures are trying to catch.
So the ones with like the funguses growing off of them have glass jars, and they're trying to catch more spores which are floating in the air and put them in the jar.
Oh.
They were not kidding. There's a giant mushroom thing in there.
Yeah.
Did you look at it?
I could sort of see the.
Zagrax has just got like
push
a
past
look.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, Zagrax has got like a look of bewilderment on his face after seeing that. Like,
I don't
oh my
like
God,
any of this.
Oh no!
I'll step in.
Now, hang on. Now that you're actually going in.
Vulwin, I looked at it. It's eating my soul. I'm going to ready up throwing a javelin.
Okay, give me a second.
Tahko, now's not.
Tahko.
Now's not the time. All right.
God damn it!
Must
You-
you?
Ready in
Vulwin's
action
still
to throw
trying
a
be
javelin.
quiet.
None of the creatures seem to have spotted you. Somehow.
Oh, then I'll.
Oh my
I'll,
God, we could have.
I'll
Now's
just
not the
surprise
time.
action.
Just there's doors
Oh,
over there.
no.
And then
There's
with that,
doors over there.
We could have
Tahko,
just walked
Tahko,
through
there's
that.
doors over there.
I actually don't have disadvantage, so that would be a 24 to hit.
who are you shooting at?
Oh, the big one.
Big guy. Okay.
Oh,
This-
50 foot.
this-
What's the maximum range of it, or long range for a javelin? It's 25, isn't it, or something?
This is 3120.
I should really cut off his hand.
30. So it is disadvantage because you're at long range. It's 50 feet away.
Ah, well, I'll get closer then.
Okay.
Tahko, the door's over that way. Where are you
Still out of
going?
range.
Tahko.
Still
Tahko.
higher, pretty closer.
All right, so just one thing I want to clarify, because these icons I recognize are kind of similar. So the ones with the funguses growing off the top of their heads, Elora, I'm just going to move you there so you can see what I'm pinging here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this one, this one, this one, and this one are the fungus things, and this one is the bipedal one that's holding a mushroom hand, a mushroom arm torn off.
Okay.
Jeez.
Oh god.
And I just
Are
threw a thing at this guy.
Yes, you did, and you're still out of range from where you're standing at the moment.
Really?
No, you're
No.
not. It's 25, isn't it?
30.
Is it 30? Okay, then yes, you throw it, and 24 I'm fairly sure will hit. So go ahead and roll damage.
Already did 8.
So you did 8 damage, and yes, that definitely hits. Okay. And as your javelin is released, flies through the air, slams into the giant mushroom creature, a bunch of spores just poof, from under the top of the umbrella bit, and start
Awesome.
covering this whole area in just a layer of spores, and it puffs out and starts to fill this whole room.
Oh, okay. Oops.
And then with that, roll initiative.
Wow.
And I just realised.
do we want to do our
We need
break
to
right
go.
before we start this?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I think we should.
We really should. Right, so
no.
since we
God
can
damn
all
it.
step out of this door, close the door, and leave Tahko to die and come back to life.
So we'll take a 5-minute break here, so we'll start again at 21 minutes past the hour. We'll be back again soon, everyone.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop.
Let's see what the spores do. Yay! Everyone's so excited.
worries. Okay, we are back again. So, let's go and do the thing which I was trying to set up, and I've totally forgotten how to do already. How did I do the thing?
Oh yeah, I
Where is
didn't
the
roll
thing?
initiative.
There's the thing. Oh yeah, please do a roll initiative if you haven't already.
I don't want to go first.
What? Don't worry. Well, I don't have to worry about that. I'm going. You going first.
Just so you know, it does say their names.
Yeah, I know. If you
Okay.
know what they are, then sorry. If you don't, then yay. They're lesser known creatures, so hopefully you don't.
I actually know
I don't know
exactly
what they are.
Oh well. Not a huge
I'm
deal.
playing another Underdark campaign at the same time, so.
No matter. Okay, so Tahko goes rushing into the room, launches his javelin once he gets close enough. Vulwin, you are the first to react after that.
I hate it. I hate it here. Is the javelin already hit, right? So can't shoot that from the air. Jeez.
Spores are going everywhere.
Yeah. How far have they filled out? You said they like poofed.
Is there like a spore threshold?
Yeah. Like.
Yeah,
Do I want to turn around and close the door?
As soon as you hit him with the javelin, he just poof, and spores started to fill the room.
Awesome. Got it.
We shouldn't be here. We should not be in here. We need to go. And he's going to step back, taking out his longbow, and he's immediately going to turn to the Duergar and be like, "What did the spores do? Damn it!"
Did you say that in Dwarvish? I'm guessing.
Yes.
God.
I don't even know if he knows.
Usually they shoot them off as an alarm.
Are they safe to breathe?
I don't know. And you notice that he's moving away from the door.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna ready. I'm gonna ready the longbow then as my action. Hold my action in. Basically, like, if those creatures look like they're gonna like run up to like Tahko, making hostile actions, I will shoot one of them.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm getting out of there.
Roll
Aw, you
initiative
got my
for-
back. Thanks.
I got your back, but I might actually just end up shooting you in the back. I don't know.
I mean,
At this point,
Hey,
leaving a sacrifice
welcome
to
to the party.
you had my back
sacrifice.
either way.
Yeah, leaving a sacrifice to the Shroom Lord.
Okay. So you are holding an action for
Yeah.
them to make an action. Tahko.
Awesome. I'm going to walk backwards a bit as I grab out my fire wand. And I'll shoot my ascendant wand at it. At
Okay.
40-foot range.
Go ahead and make an attack roll without proficiency.
Okay. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Where are you? Boom wand.
So you line it up,
Nice.
try to aim it, pull the trigger, and it just kind of blasts out of your hands a little bit, and the shot just slams into the wall behind it.
Yeah. Starts melting the wand. What is the reaction from me straight out assaulting them?
All of the creatures which were grabbing the spores have kind of looked back to where you are. And
Oh.
the javelin going in, the creature with the arm in his hand just kind of like walks towards the big mushroom, like shaking his arm, kind of inspects the javelin, then the boom as the explosion of energy slams into it. Then he spins around as well. He hasn't really had much of a chance to do anything other than that, though.
Okay, I'm gonna with my I'm gonna like put my hand under my. I'm gonna grab my jerk and hold it up over my face so I can hopefully not breathe as many spores.
Okay. That's true. I need to check that thing.
That's my turn.
All right. Next up, we have got one of the spore things. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Time to see how he can kill us.
Which one is it? It's that one. It starts to go, well, it starts to lurch towards you. 5, 10, 15, 20.
I like that you don't have to say who, just you works. Yeah.
And then it is the mushroom.
Oh, cool. I see that thing. Is it like lurching towards Tahko right now?
Yeah, it drops or it places the jar on the ground and then starts to lurch towards Tahko. One of his legs dragging behind it as it goes.
That's so fast. It's gonna kill me.
Doesn't. I don't know if I can intuit its intention, honestly, but I kind of
Roll insight. Let's see what that intuits.
All right, insight. What do we got?
Oh boy.
Oh, it's definitely attacking.
It's got like one of his hands out, like
These things are hard to read.
begging almost.
Yeah. Oh, well, it just wants.
It wants hugs.
No, it just
It
wants
wants
give it some spores or something. Okay, cool. I don't really know then what exactly it's doing. That's fine with me.
Okay. Swift
It's an
runner.
enigma.
Hey, these things are kind of weird.
What is Swift Runner gonna do?
Probably laugh.
Yeah, you're like stupid brother.
She closes the door herself.
I don't think she's gonna be afraid of mushrooms either.
Yeah, I think we
So-
just told her there was an evil mushroom. That was it.
What are we doing? Are we killing this thing? I
Yeah,
take that
Tahko,
as a
what are
yes.
we doing?
And she takes one step in front of you, Tahko, and kind of stands in front of you protectively. And that is her turn done. And that guy is going to go.
Yeah, what the hell are we doing, Tahko?
Killing things.
Irilyssa, you're up.
Oh man. sh- I'm just gonna leave a guiding bolt at the mushroom.
Okay.
Really?
Awesome.
Evil, I guess.
16.
16 does indeed hit. So it takes 8 points of radiant damage.
Pull it up.
And again, it kind of... It's tied down at the moment, so it kind of shakes around as your radiant energy slams into it, but makes no reaction otherwise.
I'm going to move 4, 5. There.
Okay. And this guy. Now, what can you do there, buddy?
Yeah, buddy, what you got?
He's going to shriek out, "Task of a Kikadif!" He's going to rush at
Bless you.
Tahko.
Whoa! He's speed.
Ah, that's a hostile action.
That is
one's a
definitely a
hostile action. That one I can see.
So yes,
Okay,
if you
cool,
want
I'll
to take a
shoot
reaction,
that
you
guy.
can.
I can. I will take a longbow shot at him.
Go for it.
Okie 18 to hit
18 hits.
for maximum damage. 12 points of damage.
Shoo, dunk. So you trace him as he's rushing forwards towards Tahko, and just as he's about to launch out with his claw attacks, you loose the arrow, taking him in the shoulder, making him wheel back a little bit, taking some of the shock off the initial strike, but he does still strike out at Tahko.
Mhm.
Does a 19 hit,
It actually just barely does.
and does a 11 hit.
No.
So you take 4 points of slashing damage, as even though it's like rotating away from you with the force of Vulwin's strike, he still manages to gash you across the chest with his claw, nicking off a couple of the pieces of your armor.
No.
Elora.
Okay. I'm gonna stand here. And then well, that's fine. Elora will yell, "Swift Runner, get back! Swift Runner, get back!" And then she's going to pull some thorns out of her pocket, her little pouch, and set them on the ground and set her hand there and catch spike growth. So it'll go off. Oh, this won't hurt her. Yeah, we'll just do it here. Oh, shoot, sorry, wrong thing. Right here.
Spike growth.
Sorry, one moment.
Pop the spell so I can see its range.
Pop it. 20-foot radius on a centered point. So, like, right here.
Nice.
Oh, I love this creepy music.
Right? This is cool.
That's that big.
Man, why do you not
That's a little big. There we go, yeah.
So is that where you wanted it?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, never mind, didn't hit you. Good. Because, yeah, that is where I wanted it.
Okay, cool.
And then...
Moves
Yeah, when
into
they
within
move,
the
they'll
area.
take damage. Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. She'll yell, don't step on that!
Alright, got it!
Yeah. That's it.
This one is still going to rush forwards regardless, or shamble forward slowly. However, it is difficult terrain. Hang on. Gets to there. And it takes 2d4 piercing, so 4d4.
44.
I traveled
You rolled
10.
it.
Oh, you did it.
11
Never mind.
damage. That's
Sorry.
cool. That's all good. Takes 11 points of damage as it just pulls itself through this, and you see various entanglements and vines and thorns starting to shred the fur, the white fur of this creature as it walks through, and it seems completely unperturbed by the fact that it's taking such hits as it goes through.
Oh,
It just has its eyes on Swift Runner. It's just making his way to her.
Oh boy. Alright.
Okay, then it's going to be this one. Gets to there. That's another 2d4. Sorry, 4d4.
4v4. Nice.
Yeah,
Another
it's
11
4
points
per
of damage. And it's much the same thing. Carefully places the jar of spores on the floor, then turns and starts shambling towards where the rest of you are. Again, moving straight through the branches and the thorns of this thing as it grates away and starts tearing at his flesh and just doesn't seem to care and just walks straight through. Zagrax.
Okay. I will go 5, 10, 15 to here. And shall bonk the dude that I can bonk.
Go for it. Nine unfortunately misses.
I was going to say that probably doesn't hit. And then I try again.
22 does.
Hey,
Nice.
for 7 force damage.
7 force damage. So you lash out with your Warhammer once and he just kind of sidesteps and you just end up waffling into air. Then you take your second strike a little bit more forcefully this time, stepping in as you do, and you get the as the secondary impact slams into him. You can see like the ripples of his shoulder as the force dissipates through it.
Okay, and then bonus action, I will actually shield bash it.
Okay. 21 hits.
21. Hey, 4, 7.
7 more points of damage. Wham! Slam the shield into his face. And this guy is now looking badly injured.
And then that'll be the end turn. Cool.
Okie dokie. Vulwin.
So, previously, Tahko was just saying about what we were doing here, and he was like killing stuff. Right, Tahko?
Breaking stuff.
Breaking
So-
stuff? Breaking stuff? Alright. So you've chosen to try to break stuff in a room where things that die come back to life? Sounds dumb. And he's gonna shoot at the one that's attacking Tahko.
Okay.
Bonus action to Hunter's Mark this target.
Noted.
Longo. Shoot. Hunter's Mark. And has that one taken damage?
Yes.
Oh yes. Okay.
He's badly injured. So yes.
20 to hit.
20 hits.
Oh, that was one that was badly injured. Okay. 11 points of piercing and an additional 10 on top of that.
And with that very well aimed shot, you actually managed to catch him right between the eyes in a shot which you're kind of going, damn, Vulwin, that was a good shot. You just take him right between the eyes and he just kind of looks at it cross-eyed for a second, then just slumps forwards.
Make sure that one stays dead, and he's going to shoot the other shot at that one.
Go for it.
No hunter's mark. Oh, and don't count the second damage. But 21 to hit.
21 hits.
8 points of piercing. Don't count that second one.
8 points of piercing. So you line up a second shot, take this one more quickly, and you manage to graze it like straight along the cheek. The arrow disappears, ricocheting off the back wall somewhere, but seems completely unperturbed and just continues to shamble forwards.
Okay. Taking out chunks. I'm done.
Okie dokie. And I need to do a thing, because the door here to the south flies open.
Door to the south.
Yep, probably. Oh, down there. Okay.
I say down to the south. I'm outside the door. I don't see it.
Yay, things are getting more complex.
And goes 5. Pauses for a second, shuffles over to the side and starts walking along, jumps up onto the wall and then just climbs along the wall.
Oh, nice.
Oh, does it notice this?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's camouflage if they haven't seen it before.
Yeah, they actually have to pass a check, I think,
To do what?
to notice it.
The spike growth is camouflage if they've never seen it before.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Spooky.
Moves into the area. Camouflage to look. Spike. It's a solid stone floor.
Shush.
Yeah, it blends in.
It's
fine,
blending
he
with the
probably
stores.
notices.
I know, right?
I'm going to give them advantage on this because it's a solid stone floor.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Like here we are as players being like, they'll step on it once, right, and then climb the wall, right?
Right.
We'll take anything we can get.
Piercing damage.
And it's a wisdom perception check. Do they have perception? They don't. What's the DC? 14?
Yeah.
He walks out into it, goes, ah! And then jumps up on the wall.
Okay.
So he
We
still
all
takes the
knew.
2d4 damage.
Yeah, all
They're
right.
just fishing for the extra damage. I don't like these things.
Wow, he head straight for Vulwin.
Well, he just goes along the wall, not knowing where the
Yeah.
stuff is, because it's still camouflage. He just knows the floor hurt.
Yep.
Fair.
You're hurting.
And this one is going to do the same. 5, 10, 15, 20.
They're
Ah!
all over the walls.
Let's see if he notices. Nope. This one actually walks 2 into it before he kind of goes, this is hurting. Why is the floor hurting? So give me a
Oh, I gotta roll again.
4. Oh, this one's a bit dumber, so he's going to go 1, 2. Hang on. Numbers hard. 20.
They're shredding themselves.
It gets to about there. So that's 44.
Okay, here's another 2d4. So 7 plus 8.
That is numbers 15.
8 yeah, 15.
Ow.
And as he runs out, you kind of hear
Sorry, bro.
Tahko.
Why does floor hurt?
All right. I'm going to realizing, I know this guy's chained up, so I'm just going to ready a shot and shoot him with the fire wand again.
Okay. Have a go.
All right.
And in fact, I should be giving you advantage because he is chained up, which means he's restrained.
Yay! Sounds good to me. I'm getting my aiming practice in. Whoop. Does a 14 hit?
14.
I imagine Tahko sets it on Zagrax's shoulder.
It does hit?
It does hit.
Nice. All right,
So you-
that's 10.
Level the
10 points of
wand.
damage.
This time being a little bit more careful, aiming right for the center of the mast, then pull the trigger, and you let loose this burst of fire, and where it impacts this thing, a puff of spores again pours out from the umbrella of the mushroom top, and the center of his torso just starts to burn, and very rapidly starts to just catch to bits of the flesh, I guess you would call it, around, and you can see that it's making a real mess of his insides. You seem to have done quite a lot of damage with that one shot.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yay! I mean, oh no.
No.
Anything else?
No. I'd consider that I used my move just to aim.
Alright, this one's going to go 5, so that's 2d4 more damage.
Oh, pretty far down.
Dang.
-6. And then he's just going to shamble forwards towards you, Zagrax. He's going to claw out once, and part of his foot just kind of buckles as he gets close. You put up your shield, but because he buckles underneath it, he just manages to strike underneath your shield and actually manages to crit, catching the clasp under your armpit.
Oh.
And you take 8 points of slashing damage as this claw just comes up underneath your shield and just takes you under the arm. The second one, however, you then feel a shudder against your shield as the second blow just impacts into that.
Every time I cast Shield of Faith, it doesn't matter. They either get 20s or above, or they crit. Every time.
I was wondering if you cast it. I'm glad you did.
I have it on. I cast it before we started this, so I had Shield of Faith on. So my AC is 20.
Mm-hmm.
But I seriously get hit more often when I have Shield of Faith on than when I don't.
Well, you know what to do.
Never cast it.
No. This is good. It's good to know. I mean, we're judging the consistency here. It's impressive.
Every time.
Yeah. It's tradition. You cast Shield of Faith and get kind of wrecked.
Okay, so another of the white-furred creature comes out, lurching out of the southern floor, immediately scrambles over the vines. Or does he? Does this one see him? No, this one definitely doesn't, and kind of similar to his buddy, just rushes out into the middle of them before kind of screaming in agony as his arms and his legs are just rendered bloody. And that's another 5, 10. That's 64, please.
64.
Wow.
Caltrops.
Oh my
Damage. Ow.
You are getting the most out of this spell.
This spell is 4, and I never get to use it like this.
Caltrops are so dangerous.
Right, Swift Runner is gonna take a disliking to the one standing right in front of her that just struck her good buddy Zagrax.
Woo! We're just gonna forget the fact that I bonked her a couple of times that one time.
She gave it back in kind.
Controlled.
Takes out a massive gouge out of the one there, but the simpleness that her strike basically just went through what was clearly semi-decayed flesh. So even though she put a lot of strength behind this, there was very little resistance. The bones and things just snapped, pushing her off balance. Then as she tries to claw the second time, it's more of a I'm trying to grab you to pull myself back up so I don't fall over than doing damage, and that one just misses. Meanwhile, that's another 44 damage, please.
Wow. So many of these now.
I mean, this particular spell is meant for like zombies and stuff, so
I think you've dealt over 100 damage already with like
it's
just
working.
It just shambles through them, and again seems completely nonplussed by the fact that it's just losing digits to thorns. Irilyssa. This is a bit too peaceful music for a fight.
That's kind of nice. Spooky.
Spooky.
I like
It's
it.
better for like exploring. How about this one?
That's true.
That's a bit too much. Let's try this one.
Forward a couple. And
Ooh.
I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on
Oh, this one scares me though.
This is the
like
kind
the
of
Stranger
ambience I was
Things
going
style.
for this fight, though.
Yeah.
Good.
I wish I could hear it, but my Sirenscape is being dumb.
Aww.
It goes do 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 do
This is the song I played when Elora died.
Really?
The first time.
I should have saved it. I'm sorry.
You have much association with that music now.
But I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on the mushroom.
Okay, go for it.
Since he's restrained, he automatically fails that dex save, right?
Yes. Radiant damage though, so still 6. Okay. So a burst of silvery light flashes over just above where Tahko's shot had it exploded into this, and you see it starts to roil and bubble with some force underneath the skin, like it's been boiled.
Awesome.
And you can see little bits of liquid start to seep out of this.
Aki.
Anything else?
Yeah. No, that's gonna be my turn.
All right, Elora, Death Dealer.
Oh, okay. Well, clearly. Derelict doesn't do much, but this is a different kind of events. Alright, so
It's such a good spell.
I'm going to, at this guy, cast some Eldritch Blast.
Okay, go for it.
22.
22 hits.
7.
7 points of damage. So you raise one hand, unleashing the power.
Ew.
Burst of
I'll
energy
do
slams out into him, and he was like almost has to catch himself as he starts to slide down the wall.
Mm-hmm. Blast again at 13.
13 hits.
Oh!
These guys
Another
don't have a lot of
7.
armor. 7 points of damage. So as he's trying to catch himself, you unleash another burst of energy, and this time he does like fall down at several feet before he manages to scrabble a hold again.
Okay. I'm gonna move over here just so I'm not like next to it. And she's done.
Okay. And this one's gonna go. That's another 4d4, please.
Okay. 9.
9.
9.
And again, seems uncaring about the fact that he's taking damage, and he gets up to Swift Runner, strikes out twice.
I'm a disadvantage on one of them.
Okay, so let's do
I'm
the first one.
I'm uncaring about his damage too, if that helps.
Be more sensitive, Tahko.
So the first one misses, the second one does just hit. And manages to slam into Swift Runner, but she seems to pretty much just shrug off the damage and just bellows in his face. Ah! Alright. Then it's gonna be you, and you're gonna do the thing. Ah!
Such a good spell, holy crap.
Still doesn't notice. Kind of goes that. Yeah.
Wow.
Like jumps
awesome.
here, then kind of goes. That's 2d4, 4d4, 64. And he like tries to get away from whatever is causing this.
Forward. Yeah.
Wow.
12 damage. Goddamn. All right.
At least
And
you didn't
then-
stop, drop, and roll.
This one. That's another 4d4, please.
Alright. 8.
This one just shambles through, pushes aside one of the furred creatures, is kind of jumping, like pulling vines and things away from him. Just walks straight through.
Oh my gosh.
Zagrax.
I want to do something so bad, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to... this guy in the middle is the one who's the most damaged currently, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm a shield bash him, first off. For a 24.
Wow.
That hits.
And deal, 7 bludgeoning damage.
7 bludgeoning damage. You just slam it into this creature's face, and you just feel the nose buckle. And then as you move your shield back again, you just see it's just staring at you still. And this thin stream of greenish blood, like coming down his nose.
Okay,
It seems very thick and congealed, though.
Ugh, gross. Can I try and shove him back 5 feet
Go for it.
with that extra thing? So, athletics check. Bam.
Would indeed be athletics. Which would be this. Oh my god. Nope, he's pushed back.
Hey!
Oof.
So does he take 2d4 damage?
It's involuntary movement.
So
Doesn't
no.
trigger it.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's good because that way it can't be used against us either. So,
Yeah,
but he
but
still has to run back to you.
true.
Yes, he
Does
does.
Swiffer get an attack of opportunity because you left 2? No.
Nope.
Voluntary
No.
movement.
Forced
Ah.
movements. Yep.
Okay. Sad. Less cool. Okay. Whatever.
It-
And then I'm gonna actually bonk the one to the north.
You know what?
Yeah.
In this instance, because this is an explicit use of this spell, and I see you did that on purpose, I will say he takes the damage, so 2d4.
Hey.
But bear in mind, I will use that against you if it comes up.
Yeah.
Same reason. Fair is
He's
fair.
gonna drag us through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your choice, Zagrax. Whether you set the rules in the future against us.
But for things like attacks of opportunity, no. Doesn't trigger.
Okay.
So, Elora, 2d4.
5.
Hi.
This one is looking probably badly damaged. So both of the southern ones are looking badly damaged.
Oh.
The top
Okay.
one is looking barely injured.
Then I'm actually gonna attack the southern one. I didn't realize he was already hit. I'll hit the south guy.
Okay, go for it.
17.
17 hits.
Yeah. For 9 force damage.
9 force damage, so you just lay out with your Warhammer, and he just stands there and takes it, and just Warhammer just slams right in the middle of his torso, poof, as the secondary impact goes through, and he just kind of moves back a foot or two with just the recoil, and then just leans forwards back again.
Okay, second attack, 26
Hits.
for 8 force
And
damage.
this time you bring it down on top of his head, and it keeps going, and he falls on the floor.
Okay. Hooray! One down. And then I'm actually going. No, I'm gonna start.
Oops. Alright, so Vulwin.
Okay, cool. Now I notice that one just came around the corner, like, came out around the corner, just climbing on the wall. I saw the shot from Elora. I hit it, and I'm going to. I'll step forward into the room because I know it might go after Elora, and I'm going to, as I move into this area, I'm going to drop the bow and pull out the Yeti's tooth and strike at it. I'm going to bonus action to adjust the hunter's mark to this target. This is the previous one's dead, and I'm going to attack it twice.
Go for it.
And this has been damaged.
Yep, definitely.
23 to hit.
23 hits.
Oh, and that is 26 points of piercing damage. As everything I rolled was absolutely max.
You just
except for
cut
the
him in
hunter's
half.
mark.
Like he's about to jump at you, and in midair you just whack down with Yeti's tooth, which is usually a piercing weapon, but you hit it with just such force, it just cleaves through him.
It's like a dang, like Lance. He just runs into it.
Yeah, in fact, that's probably better. So he just jumps forwards
Yeah.
and just put your arm out and just impales himself in midair, and he then
Oh,
have to
jeez.
lower your arm because of the weight.
Yeah, and then just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I will, I'll move up past this guy to basically step up these steps and be next to Swift Runner.
Okay.
There's so many of them. Okay, and I'm done.
Okay. This one is going to yell something. Kieta, Karara! In a much more growly kind of voice than I can do. And he jumps up onto the wall. He makes a giant leap onto the wall. And then that's 40. He starts just running along the wall on the side, yapping something out behind him as he does. And that one is dead, so he doesn't get a turn. Meanwhile, from the north,
Oh, good.
another of the doors opens.
Love it. What's
Why
coming
have
in
we
next?
done this?
Oops.
I believe this is what they call XP farm. For who?
This
I'm not
one's
sure.
going to take a
Oh,
shot
Tahko.
at Irilyssa.
Oh,
Just see his stats. Irilyssa does a 16 hit.
Does not.
So this one raises a heavy crossbow, pulls the trigger, releases it towards you. And do you have a shield? You have a shield, don't you?
I do have a shield.
You just put your shield up just in time and catch it, and you feel the solid impact of a heavy bolt slamming into it. And then he is going to duck behind the wall. Tahko.
All right. Again, I'm gonna ready aim and fire at this guy.
Go for it.
All right. Whoop. No.
Nope. So you take a
I
shot.
got a 6.
Press the trigger and you swear you were aiming at the same spot, but this one just shoots off like 5 foot above his head, just showers masonry on top of him.
Man, this thing is weird.
Damn it, Tahko, that thing's not even moving.
Come on, it's the danger, isn't it? It's evil, right?
Yeah, so fire better.
That's my turn.
Alright, and this one is going to move forward, taking 2d4 damage in the process.
Of course.
Elora?
Oh, it's me. I'm sorry.
No,
did
2d4
we
damage. 2d4 damage.
Oh
Minus
my
3. Okay. So this one again starts to move forwards, taking damage but not really caring about it. Gets up to you, Zagrax, slams a claw into the top of your shield. You hold the shield there, though, knowing that he's got 2 claws, and yep, moments later you feel a second claw, like, impact itself and then impale itself on your shield. And then you just feel this force, like, trying to pull away from your shield. And you can't quite tell if he's trying to pull the shield away from you, but you can still see the tips of his claw, like, through the shield.
Jeez.
Oh.
Don't like that.
And the mushroom is going to squat down, try to make itself as small as it can. Swift runner.
Wow.
And of
I
course,
imagine
Swift
Swift
Runner's
Runner's
one I
just going to attack
control.
this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to find a thing to show that the thing that they were doing. But yeah, so Swift Runner is going to attack the one that just attacked Zagrax. Quite happy that it's got its
Claw stuck.
claw stuck. And yeah, Swift Runner just disintegrates this thing.
Yay!
Just a rain of blows rain in. And then there ain't much left of this thing afterwards.
Yay!
Swift and I are just sitting with the meat grinder. Just
pretty
they
much.
come up to us and we're just
And this one is also going to try to leap for the wall, except you don't quite make it and you land down here in amongst the pain and then kind of resigned to the situation. So it's 2d4, 4d4, 6d4 damage.
Okay.
15.
God damn. It takes it screaming in agony as he goes. Irilyssa.
okay.
Okay.
Feels bad.
I really need to put you guys up against a druid because you're all hand to hand.
Right.
Or something that flies like
Am
a
I?
dragon.
Yeah, you know.
Still mad about that.
Irylyssa's gonna go up here, and she's gonna wait for this Duragar to come back around the corner.
You're just like, nah, I'm not.
So
gonna
I'm
work.
holding my turn
To
to
balk him.
not to buck him. I'm gonna cast a spell on him.
Oh, good.
Which spell?
I'm gonna cast inflict wounds on him.
Okay.
Oh.
Comes around the corner of the fire's like,
Noted. Alright, this
One
one
of my
is going to
favorite
attack Zagrax. Doesn't have to move though.
Mhm.
Does a 21 hit?
Oh my god!
Oh man.
It's a good thing you cast that spell.
I know.
So your shield's weighted down still by the claw that's still clutched in you, even though the creature's on the floor dead. Pulls your shield down, and then just over the top of it, you just see this claw, and you try to back away from it. But you're also kind of restrained by the shield being put in place, and this claw just scratches straight across your front, and you take 9 points of damage from that.
Ow!
And then the second claw, he tries to do the same thing, reaches across the shield, but this time he managed to put enough distance, they just swing short. And he's like the kid where he's like trying to strike at you, and you're just holding his forehead. Elora.
Hi. Okay. I'm gonna move.
That's such a fun fight.
I'm gonna shoot Eldritch Blast at that guy.
Go for it.
It's a 26.
God
Woo,
damn.
nat
Yeah.
20.
Yep,
Yeah.
that hits.
Nice.
17. Wow.
Yeah, 17.
That's a third of his health in one shot.
Can you feel Idwash wanting to be free? Like, I can.
19 hits.
4.
So the first shot just like impacts him square in the neck, and you can kind of see a part of his throat just get torn away with the blast. And you're kind of like, that was really good. Bring up your second hand for another strike, but you're still kind of praising yourself. You're not really paying attention. This one's a bit half-hearted and just pings away into the distance without striking him.
Okay.
Sorry, it did strike him, just not very hard.
Yeah,
Because
I like
I can
almost
maths.
misses. Okay, then she'll just move back a little bit.
Okay.
She's
Then it is-
fine. She doesn't have to be up.
This
In the
one is
combat.
going to climb up here onto the wall, jumping forwards to the wall. Gets to there. Just rushes along the side of the wall, several feet up, to get close to you, Vulwin, but doesn't actually strike. This guy is dead. And then another door from the north opens.
Yeah!
You know, the doors I said we should go to.
Behind door number 3, what do we got? It's a new car!
Ooh,
A
I
new
hope
Duragar,
so.
you mean? Because that's close.
And this one
Yeah.
also has a heavy crossbow,
Haragar.
levels it at Tahko, and takes a
I'm
shot
a plus disadvantage.
with ranged attack.
Hold on. I
don't know.
Yeah, while wielding the shield, a creature you can see attacks a target other than you within 5.
Oh, with-
you can use your reaction to impose
Okay.
disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Nice.
it's the creature you're attacking within 5 feet as opposed to them being within. Yeah, okay, cool. So disadvantage, that is a 6. So, Zagrax, you're rewarded by a pthunk as a bolt impacts itself on your shield, which is still being weighed down slightly by this dead creature's claw.
Yep.
And now there's a bolt in it. Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
and this
thanks.
guy is also going to... Whoop. Alright, then it is this guy who's going to go... Whoops. There. That's going to be another 4d4 damage, please.
Mm,
You should just cast that on the wall, too. They'll get so confused.
you can't.
And the ceiling
Around.
and everywhere. Just
Takes 11 damage as it just pushes through the damage. Doesn't push through the pain because it doesn't care. And then it is going to strike at Vulwin. Does a 7 hit?
no.
Does an 8 hit?
No.
Then I think you're okay, Zagrax.
All right.
Why? What? I mean, I'll take it, but why? They roll so good. I have high armor. Why?
It's like the GM is like, high numbers. I can challenge against that.
Well, on the
Nice
bright side,
know.
I guess if I do use this, I actually draw attacks because there's been multiple times where I feel like in the middle of combat and nobody will punch me. Like, I'm the tank. Hit me.
true.
Hit me. And then they just won't.
Maybe you just don't have enough faith for that shield of faith to work.
Yeah, right. I really
True.
been thinking about that.
This
I can
point,
put this up,
it's
they're going to hit me
100%.
anyway. Just like, is there any point?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
It's actually
Okay.
a cursed spell. You just don't know it. You think you get +2, but it's actually -2. And it's been adjusting this whole time.
True. I'm gonna. Hey, still has the same. It hasn't been bonked in a whole lot. I'm actually going to shield bash the guy to the north.
Okay. Let's start removing some of the
22.
corpses. 22 hits.
That's where cleanup
For
duty arrives.
9 damage.
9 damage, done.
And then I'm going to try and shove him as
And
well.
I'll leave because that reminds you that you have a Hunter's Mark active.
Well, it
21.
disappears when they're dead, like from the target. But
Oh, I
thank
thought you could
for
move it from a dead target.
I can.
I'll
Yes.
just leave it there so you know.
Thank you for the reminder. I get what you mean now.
So yes, you're pushing him down. 21 athletics. This is against him. That is a contested 7. You push him down or back?
We'll say back.
Back. 2d4
Into the
damage, please.
spikes. Beautiful.
Perhaps we need you to roll 2d4.
I'll roll it.
Oh, you do?
That's good.
I rolled
Zagrax
it.
rolled it. 7
Okay,
damage. So gets pulled back through the vines. They're trying to cling to him, hold him where he was. But your force says otherwise.
Okay.
Anything else?
And then I'm going to go 5, 10, 15 to here. And then I don't think I can hit this guy. But I'm going to use my Dragon Breath.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Can I
Good, this
guess
side
I
was-
hit this guy without hitting
Beautiful.
Vulwin?
Yeah, I'll say you can.
Okay. And then breath weapon.
Just means you're kind of going up the side of the wall, which, considering what those 3 are doing, it makes
Oh
sense.
boy.
That's pretty
Probably
good.
does.
You know.
That's
I only
a...
rolled
Actually,
one.
does your breath weapon do more damage for being like 5th level and plus?
Ah,
You should
it
be
does.
doing
Fuck.
2d10.
Five
Yeah,
damage.
it's 2d10.
What's the save?
Oh, nice.
13 dex.
You're also,
Save,
coating
save,
the wall with
fail.
ice, so that might be good. might make
So...
It might make it really hard for them to hold onto that
It'd be
wall.
funny at least.
Well, it's a
Right.
dry wall, so it's not like I'm freezing it. Like the water that's on it. We'll
I love what they've done with the drywall in here.
see. Yeah. Unfortunate that it was such a poor roll.
That was a really bad roll. So yeah, you
So sad.
You huff out a blast of this intense cold energy, slamming it into all 4 of those creatures, and the ones closest to you actually seem to suffer the least. They kind of cover their faces with their heavily furred appendages, but the last one kind of goes, huh? And bam! Just slams him right in the face with the full force.
Nice.
Hooray. And then I'm gonna bonk out with my second attack, bonk
Yep.
the guy in front of me.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. I don't bonk him.
9 unfortunately misses. So it's a little bit slippery there because of the frost, and you slip on it, which throws off your strike and just BAM! Poof, on the wall next to you. Anything else?
Nope. That is the end of my turn.
Alright, Vulwin.
I was hoping it would
Yeah.
be cooler.
It was a really
Yeah,
good
he-
idea.
Yeah, he notices that you've come up to help Zagrax. Like, good, it was getting a little busy on this side. And yeah, he'll strike out the one that's right in front of Zagrax.
Go for it.
I'm going to. I'm not going to do Hunter's Mark for this one, but he is going to pull out the Dwarven Short Sword to pair with the Yeti's Tooth. Alright, Yeti's Tooth, let's go. No Hunter's Mark. And that guy's been damaged, right?
Yes.
I feel like they all have at this point. 11 to hit.
11 unfortunately
They all
misses.
have, because
Okay.
breath.
Second attack. That's a crit, and that's actually going to be some ridiculous numbers because I roll my damage 3 times. For,
31.
yeah, so
Hell.
because I've got the Piercer trait, my damage instead of being 2d6 on a crit is 3d6
Okay.
for the piercing weapon.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I don't know if it doubles the other numbers, but I think it's still there's a lot of damage there.
Everything is doubled. So, I mean, you just did 20, 31, which was exactly how many health he had, so the extra...
The other stuff isn't. Yeah, so there's the crit damage is a lot, and I just blow this guy up with like another like lancing strike.
So your first strike pushes out towards him, but this guy's just crouching down because of the intensity of Zagrax's cold breath. But because he's just crouching there in front of you, you just finish him off Assassin's Creed style. Just blow to the back of the neck, just goes straight through, shearing his spine, and it just slumps lifeless in front of you.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Nice.
cool. I'm gonna use my bonus action then to strike the one that's in front of me.
Okay.
And this is with the short sword, so... Normal, no, and no. 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Alright, 8 piercing.
8 piercing damage as you just strike out into this one as he's kind of just stands there gormlessly. You stab him.
Oh.
He stands there gormlessly.
Alright, I'm done. That's me.
You
Nice.
say it gets busy over here, but it seems you're dealing with it fine.
Glad to have the help.
This one is going to strike at you, Vulwin, having just seen
I'm
what you
imposed
did.
disadvantage.
Yeah.
Go for it. 16
16 hits.
and a 21.
That will hit.
So you take 14 points of slashing damage as these two blows just rain down on you. Zagrax tries to push himself in front of you, but instead this thing just jumps up on top of the shield, using it to pull itself up, and then just start clawing over the top of it before leaping back and then clutching back onto the wall behind.
Alright, 14 points from 2 different sources. Okay.
So yeah,
So you
7
gotta
and
roll
7.
a cons or constitution check for Hunter's Mark, so
Yeah, so 7 and
I'll roll
7.
those concentrations. Yep.
Oh, I should have rolled.
Let's see,
concentration
so-
for
14.
chill
I always
fate.
forget about concentration, but yeah, that's up to you guys to remember. Sorry.
Yep, no problem. Make
I'm
sure that
good. I'm good.
did that trigger? Okay, it did. Good. There's 1, there's 2. Okay,
Yeah, you're
I
fine.
make the saves on both of those, and I'll make
Nice.
sure the damage is changed.
And that was that guy, so he's done. Then it's the Duragar. He steps out. Irilyssa, what are you doing?
Gonna dump a level 3 inflict wounds onto his face.
Wow.
Okay.
Do I get advantage because he didn't know I was there?
No, it's not a surprise.
Okay.
I mean, he's shocked. He kind of goes, huh! But no. He's battle ready. He's aware.
23.
Done.
Which is a... what save?
It's a
It's an
spell
attack.
attack.
Oh, it's 20. Yeah, that hits. And it
Okay,
does
so-
28 damage.
So,
Nice.
I imagine the way that this looks is it's kind of like a sunburn, but with moon energy.
Mm-hmm.
So he just starts blistering.
And as you...
23 plus 12 plus 16?
No,
24?
23's
28.
to hit.
Oh, okay.
Then 12
Alright, I
plus
got
the
you,
16. So yeah, he steps out, his hand ready on the crossbow, raising it to take a shot. And you see his hand, give him a little bit of a smile, place your hand on top of his, and just unleash this energy. And there's just this intense burst of silvery light from around where you guys are standing right now. And his skin there just starts to blister, and then his face starts to blister, and then you see liquid starting to seep out from beneath the scales of his armor, and he just slumps on the ground before you without a sound.
Irilyssa
Wow.
says good night in Dwarvish.
Oh,
Jeez. Okay.
Tahko.
We now need to be scared. Well, we were already scared of Irilyssa, but that scared level went up a couple of notches.
What? You don't have to use a reason to be scared of her.
All right, so I'm keeping an eye on this guy over here. Like, please don't shoot me while I'm aiming. And I'm still aiming at this guy right here, and I'll take another shot.
Go for it.
Come on. Does a
Nice.
20 hit?
Yes.
All right, 7 damage. Fire.
Okay.
Unless that
Fire
doesn't
damage
advance.
noted. So even as he's down on the ground, cowering away from you, trying to escape the intensity of the burns that you're inflicting upon him, you just lower your shot a little bit and pull the trigger, and this time you're rewarded with another punching impact into this thing that immediately just starts burning away at the shoulder, and where one arm is missing, you burn through the shoulder of the second one, and this arm just on the ground next to him.
All right.
And as that happens, another of spores erupts from his head.
Does it make any noise or anything, or just crackle? Okay.
Crackle.
Nice.
I just had a thought, and I'm going to keep it to myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Got him. Got another
one. I might have the same thought. I don't want to think about that.
Well, I'm not thinking anything. I'm just trying to aim my gun.
Yeah, all you thinkers better do thinking. Come on.
No, we know he's not thinking.
Yep.
No, but the rest of you that are, please continue doing so.
So that's my turn.
Okay, so at this point, the mushroom, cowering where it was, the two arms now missing, just pushes itself up with his feet and just sits next to the wall.
But shooting fish in a barrel.
Swift Runner is going to attack the creature just there. That is not your profile. That's your profile. You're going to go whack, whack. Both of those are hits. Whack, whack, whack. That's a ton of damage. You had 5 hit points. You are definitely dead. And again, Swift Runner just disintegrates this this fungally infected creature that was there attacking you, Vulwin, and she just tears it apart. Right, this guy is going to climb up the wall a little bit further and is going to go... No, he is above you, so Vulwin, this is not leaving your range of attrition. He's going to get behind you, Zagrax. Going up the wall and around, because this thing goes 30 feet up. And then he is going to jump down and attack you.
He passed right by.
It's another crit.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And does a 17 hit. Okay, so the first one, as he jumps down, you're still trying to track him, and you pull your shield up, but your shield is still held down by this claw. And you try to lift it, but all that does is just open your torso, and he just jumps down at you, both claws out, and just manages to punch straight through the armor with his sheer weight and force of the fall. And you take 11 points of slashing damage as it does so, and then kind of falls back behind you and immediately jumps back up onto his feet. Irilyssa.
And I lose.
Well, you didn't need it anyways. You keep getting get rid of it. Just get rid of it.
To be fair, it didn't help once during any of those.
You'll never be hit the rest of this combat. Don't worry.
Another Durgar.
If you are, it'll be
Hopping in and
hilarious.
out.
Peekaboo.
So,
Yeah, I'm going to do another Sacred Flame on this mushroom.
Okay, go for it. Automatically fails because you're restrained, and with that, the mushroom just pus starts seeping out, or what would this be? It would be like resin starts seeping out, and it just slumps. Where it was already kind of sitting in resignation, what's left of it just slumps to the ground, unmoving.
Hey, you got it.
I feel kind of bad for the thing, even though it's probably super evil.
Hey, you would know, right?
It only lasts for a small bit of time, so I have no idea.
Irilyssa.
That was my turn.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm going to move away from this door. That's my turn.
Okay, then this guy is going to go 5, 10, 15, so that's 2d4 damage.
2d4 damage, sorry, I was like, yep.
Yep.
So again, just leaves bits, so like a finger just sitting on one of the vines back there. But he does get up to you, Tahko, and strikes out at you. Does an 8 hit.
No.
Does a 16 hit?
Nope.
Then both of them, the first one just claws against your armor, the second one just slams into your shield and does not get through. Elora.
I will drop concentration on the spike growth.
Okay.
It's gonna go away. And then I'll just attack that guy with an Eldritch Blast.
Go for it. 16 hits.
17.
And with that, you just explode its back. It's got his back to you, doesn't see this thing even coming, and you just rupture it, and it kind of falls forward onto your back, Zagrax, and then just slumps down in front. Its claws like screeching against your armor as it falls.
Great. That'll be
I
his
had
turn.
now. I feel like I now have more bits of these creatures on me than they have on themselves.
Okay.
You can choose to use your second Eldritch Blast on a different target.
Oh, you're right. I'll just go up here then. Use it on that guy.
Okay, go for it.
20.
20 hits.
Jeez.
13.
Jeez.
So you conjure your energy from within, pushing out with both of your palms, burst of energy slamming out into this thing, and it takes off the top of this thing's head. There's just the brain exposed, the little mushroom sticking out the top of it.
Oh my gosh, I decapitated.
But it doesn't go down.
Oh my gosh,
You
why?
scalped
Okay.
it.
Alright, that's your turn then.
Okay, that guy is dead. There's the Duragar. He's going to step out and go, I need to shoot something. He's going to shoot at Tahko.
Hey.
Okay,
You don't have to.
that's fine.
Does a 20 hit.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, then that is a... You take 8 points of damage as a heavy bolt slams into your body from the Duragar at the door, and then the Duragar at the door is going to whoop back up again. He's dead. Zagrax.
Hey. I'm gonna walk up to this guy. I'll move so you can grab the guy below. Oh. Do you want to move the guy that is below?
Yeah, I'm running out of space to put these bodies.
Just pile them in the previous room. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
and then I am going to shove this guy, or shield bash the dude. 13. Oof.
13 hits. 8 points of damage, and then with that, you just slam a shield into him as he tries to claw his way up the wall to get away from you. And you just pulverize him,
Hey.
squishing him between your shield and the wall.
Hey, oh, now I have even more bits of them on me. Hooray! Okay, and then I'll go 5, so what was that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then I'm gonna block this guy. Do I have advantage because flying king?
Yeah, you do.
Hey,
No, he doesn't have a head.
does a 20 hit.
20 hits.
Right. 9 force damage.
So how do you kill this thing? What's it look like?
Oh god, it's probably an overhead swing since it doesn't see me, and it just straight from top to bottom, bam, and then it just kind of explodes probably in the middle of it when the hammer's in the middle.
Yeah, so you just go straight through the top. Now, bearing in mind this thing doesn't have a skull, your hammer just sinks through the remnants of its brain, caving down right down to the nose. And just as the warhammer stops, you then get the poof as the secondary impact just shatters its jaw, spraying it across the floor on the ground. And the force of the hammer just allows you to then dig it down into like the top of its chest, into its ribcage. It's dead.
Yep.
What? Really?
Yeah,
He goes boom.
promise you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then I'll just turn focus to the Duragar who's in the doorway, and that's the end of my turn.
All right, Vulwin.
Well, I see that the room is clear, and I'm going to head over this way, and I'm putting away my the dwarven short sword with the H2 style, and I'm going to pick up the bow with my other hand.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of survey, because I don't really know for sure that there's been a Duragar shooting out at Tahko.
Okay.
There's been a lot going on. So
Yeah.
into my turn. I'll kind of like look in to see how they're doing in there, like as I'm walking by.
In that case, Tahko.
My turn? Alright, I'm going to just aim in this direction with my wand still and just say, Zagrax, duck a little.
Does Zagrax duck a little?
It probably is like delayed for a second, but then yes, like yeah.
Yep, and the second that Druger like pops back in, I'm gonna try and melt his face off.
Noted. Swift Runner. She was in the fight. She was standing next to you. She saw you get shot. She's got a 19 on the perception, so she knows it's over there. She's just gonna go for it. She just rushes at the Duragar, and you just hear a yelp from inside as this half bear, half woman, sorry, half bear, half Goliath rushes through this entrance.
I was calling dibs.
Too late, brother.
You late, yeah.
You just
Hurted
hear
him as well.
screaming from the Duragar.
You
that
do
she's
just
tearing
hear
to
screaming, tearing sound, and then just silence.
shreds. Oh my god.
I didn't even get to kill a mushroom. What the heck?
That's what you get. Rushing in here.
With that, we are out of combat.
Oh wait, oh no, the spores. Vulwin, help! Evil mushroom. We can't
I'm gonna-
make it.
Yeah, I think I could dislodge them. Come a little closer, Tahko.
It's funny they didn't mention all of these dog wall crawling bear things, and I'll just kick one of them on the floor.
Oh, apparently they're evil too, then.
I guess.
I'll
Just
go
for the
over
record, that's what you killed.
Woo!
Nice.
Didn't I do like 150 damage on those things?
Okay,
Oh
I've got
my
your actual
God.
number. 154 damage done from vines.
Dang.
Spike
wow.
God.
They all had 45 hit points except the Duragar. So
Oh my god.
Oh,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
If that
Just
spell
be-
didn't, I guess we could have done the zone control one too.
This whole room is just filled with viscera.
Oh, and I'm covered in it.
Tahko, just because it's worked out doesn't mean it wasn't a foolish idea.
No.
no,
I'm-
Vulwin's right.
I'm gonna pick up a couple of those bottles with the spores in them and just kind of put them in my bag.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, the advice they gave us was worthless. Turns out it was these dog things that were the real threat.
That
Like I
would
say,
have been a lot
Zagrax-
difficult if I hadn't cast that.
Oh, I know. You did a great job. That was amazing.
And how are
He
you
just
so
wor-
sure so sure these spores don't actually do anything?
Because
Well,
I'm
maybe-
breathing them. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, well maybe later fungal growth will just come out of you and you'll just, decompose.
it wouldn't be the first time.
I've got a
What
couple.
do you mean wouldn't be the first time?
We've had fungus growing out of us before. It's, we dealt with it
What a win!
ages ago.
I don't want to
And
stay in
then,
here.
and then we ate mushrooms afterwards, and everyone's like, no, not mushrooms.
Okay, I've got my longbow out. I put away the Yeti's tooth,
Yeah,
but I am
okay.
getting out of that room.
You don't remember that we were... Okay.
So, Irilyssa,
No,
just
I do.
Alright,
you
alright.
you pour the contents of the jars into one. You have one full jar of these spores.
Okay. I'm also gonna check out this room, just keep my head and see if there's anything worthwhile in there.
I'll
What?
stay watch here.
This
What?
dark, filthy room is strewn with bones. It contains 10 crude beds made of moss and clumps of fur. Loud mechanical noises come from behind the west wall.
Am I proficient with this wand thing yet?
No,
How many shots do I have to do to get proficient with it? Like 25?
probably.
Okay.
Get a natural crit, and then we'll.
I'll blow on the tube and then put it in its holster.
I'm also gonna kind of look over this corpse and see if I can glean anything from it.
Sure. Give me a nature check with disadvantage.
And so after the fight's done, Zagrax will just kind of like look around the room a bit, make sure there's no more
Nope.
threats, and then just start picking pieces of all of these guys off of him. They're getting the claw out of his shield.
It's a mostly armless mushroom.
Don't breathe its evil spores too much. You might turn evil.
Well,
Tahko.
turn. Irilyssa is gonna turn to you and say, "Turn evil." What do you mean?
I'll kind of turn into the room and be like, look, I can hear you making light of it, but it's not wise to just not listen to any kind of information that could be potentially harmful.
Vulwin's right.
Okay. I'm just saying that you take things too seriously,
Where are
Vulwin. You
you
gotta
going?
relax a little.
That's a closed door, isn't it?
Yeah, I opened it.
No,
What's
you opened
down?
it, okay.
Here, I'm gonna check out this one real
Hang
fast.
on.
Oh,
So
okay.
many arrows slits around.
Yeah, so the rooms that
Oh.
you're in now is one of the harder ones for me to pass, but it's a triple corridor basically. So the central corridor is slightly inset into the ground, it's slightly lower down, and then the two corridors above it are like at knee height probably, looking down into it, and all of the arrow slits are widened at the back as if they're shooting down into this middle.
Oh, it's a trap hallway. This is perfect.
This is some kind of weird murder corridor, is what this is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a guarded passage. leading
Yep,
to the
that's
throne room.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And looking through the arrow slits, because you can do that, you see on the east side. Yeah, you would see this. On the east side of that, you see what looks to be a giant furnace room. There are a number of guard posts situated at different areas around the side. On a large podium on the south center. Oh, yeah. You see the dragon.
I see the dragon.
Yeah?
It's
Yes,
currently
jump door.
has what looks to be brackets holding it up in place. It is unmoving, head bowed, wings curled around it, and there is movement from around it and from behind it as something is there doing some work on it, that is a bit harder to make out of this distance. Then in the center of the room, flowing through the center of it, is what looks to be just a stream of lava. Bubbles appearing every now and then, a very thin film of cooled rock flowing along the top of it with anvils paced at equal areas along the length of it. But at the head of this stream, the lava pouring out at the base of it is a slowly
Cool.
red heart that rhythmically pumps, and every time it does, lava comes out the bottom of it, feeding into the stream.
Cool.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Meanwhile,
Talk about heartburn.
And that's it for session today, everyone.
meanwhile, on the western side, you can see through those arrow slits as well going in the other direction. There are 4 Duergar, 2 of them larger than usual, having used their enlarged capabilities, straining with a rope against a creature with a sack on its head, straining at the ropes against these creatures, pulling them back, and even in their expanded forms, they are struggling to keep this creature contained. And out of the base of the sack placed over his head, you just see these very large mandibles just chomping together beneath it. Every now and then it will like turn towards one of the ropes, just snap at it, and at the dwarf at the end.
Oh, I don't like what I'm seeing over there, Zagrax.
I don't even know what I'm seeing.
It's like a pincer sack and Duergar trying to some ropes.
The dragon's
I don't know.
over there.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that they were warning us about that eats metal.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I've seen with pincers here.
Now let's go kill it.
Hang
We
on.
have to be careful.
We doing?
Well, I mean, just the dragon's right over there.
Look,
It
We
looks
wanna
out of
kill
position to me.
we want to destroy the dragon for good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Let's go bonk it.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could attack from inside here and release that thing on the Duergar.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Good. I like the way you think.
Okay.
I don't. Where are you through? Like the bars or somewhere? Where are you
yeah,
at?
you're like talking through the slits.
Yeah. Oh, you are right there. So I was just like leaning down. Like,
Hello.
like I just like I like the way you think.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go in and I guess guard the doors up front here.
Yeah, keep
I'm
them
gonna
closed.
I'm gonna sneak a peek around here.
Honestly, I hope they don't have that thing. Any sort of trade.
Doesn't look like it.
Sneak by.
Okay, I'm gonna sneak up to the. Ooh, okay.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, if we're in agreement, like Irilyssa and I on that too. Nobody else is saying anything. Maybe Irilyssa and I will try to shoot at the ropes or shoot at the Duergar holding the stuff. What do you think?
I'm going to try and use Thaumaturgy to distract this Duergar.
Ooh.
So I'm going to use Thaumaturgy to make it sound like there is creepy, ominous whispers in his ears.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
To get him to try and break focus on what he's doing so that this thing can escape.
Do I have anything else? Let's see.
So, you start whispering into the palm of your hand. And the Duergar at the end of this rope starts looking around, pulls on the rope once or twice, but doesn't seem to react otherwise.
That didn't work.
Yeah, I think they're a little too intent on what's going on there.
Yes, it means that that thing is probably very dangerous.
Yeah, I bet it is. And he's
Sounds
gonna
like
like
fun.
he's gonna pull an arrow out. And
I bet it
start
is.
running along, but-
Arrow.
Yeah. From where I'm at, could I get a good shot from like either of these positions? At the rope's moving around quite a bit. I'm assuming, so maybe I can like shoot the Duergar in its hand.
You can certainly try. It'll be an aimed shot, so it'll be a disadvantage.
Okay.
And because they... Let's see, that one's that angle. I would say it's probably half cover, because it's constantly moving stuff in the way.
Yeah, say if I move up to the actual like the window, the arrow slit area, does that make it better?
Not really.
Okay. Then I'll try shooting from here and get a straight shot.
Which one are you shooting?
Does this guy have a rope?
Yes, all four of them do.
Okay. Then I'll shoot at one of them. A little bit at a time.
Need to know which one.
All right. Yep, it's fair. I was gonna say, because from what I'm seeing, they all look like they're equally struggling right now.
Yes.
Oh, there's a smaller one there too, though. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot for this guy right here.
Okay.
Let's see. So
Give
it's
me
gonna
an
be
attack roll
longbow.
with disadvantage.
Yeah, disadvantage. Let's see how it goes. I'll take a moment to line up the shot and disadvantage. And no. 14 to hit.
14 to hit against that guy. Unfortunately, does not hit. Your arrow shoots out and then manages to catch through the top of his armored gauntlet.
Is it?
Oh, did I get anything for a surprise attack?
Yeah.
No, that would have counted.
Would that nullify it?
Yeah, it would have counted the disadvantage, so that would have been a 19. That does hit.
I'll take it.
Okay, then I'm going to make him do a will save.
Cool.
DC
Yeah, that's max damage.
14. If
Nice.
he fails that, then he'll release. He fails. So one of the ropes is released as suddenly this arrow just sprouts in the middle of this guy's hand. And with that, I'm going to need you to roll initiative.
Yay, initiative
Absolutely.
kid.
Yay!
My
Initiative booster thingy.
my initiative boost. My vigilant blessing on myself.
Cool.
So I can roll twice for initiative.
Nice.
What did I get? Oh, 9. Not bad. Not great. Not bad.
Wow.
A 5. Congrats.
Nice.
A 3
We are
and a
all
5.
super ready for this.
Honestly, we just took our time.
And you will all get a surprise round here because you are all ready
Heck yeah.
for this. So, Vulwin, you've just taken yours, but the rest of you do have one.
I'm just waiting.
That spike thing again.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Are the doors?
Yeah, spike it up. Oh man.
I'll have to walk over here though. To see what's going on. Where do you want it?
One rope's
Probably
loose.
in front of our door. So.
So
Yeah.
the first
See
to
in front of the door.
react would be you, Elora, after that initial shot.
All right.
Yeah, went up to lose control and bar this place, so they have to fight it.
Well, I can't really see that, but I'll do my best. Well, all she can see is even let's see if she knows it. No, not really. It doesn't really help at all.
Is she like looking around?
She's trying to see the entrance to the door, but she can't quite see it, so she can't like get it exact. She'll cast Spike Growth again, but she'll do it like. She'll do it like right here, because that's
Give me a second.
basically the edge of her vision.
Need to find the thing again.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's 10.
What is this music?
Spooky times.
It's just groany noises now.
Okay, but it's not there.
Yeah, I'll give you control of it and then you can place it.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Wave it down on top of us.
Okay, you
Oops,
should
I
be able to
missed.
place.
Then Elora's
I'm
just
hoping
like,
for like a kaiju fight going on here. Ant versus
that-
dragon. Let's go.
This is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause she was aiming it for like right there. Okay. There,
Noted.
I did it.
Volwyn, you're... No, you already had yours.
I've already went.
Insect doesn't get one. Zagrax.
I think I'm. Are we gonna
What was the
metagame this
sound?
and not cast Shield of Faith again, or am I gonna actually cast Shield of Faith again? I'm actually gonna cast Shield of Faith again.
I was gonna say, how do you feel
Also-
about how does that ability make you feel? No.
Yeah, it makes me
Not
feel like
metagame.
I'm tanking. Whether that's
How
a
does
good
your
thing
how
or a
does it
bad
make your
thing.
character feel?
I was gonna say. I don't think he's quite caught on to the fact that it doesn't really work, but I'll just sit here and then ready in action. So if somebody comes running through this door, I'll block them. So I'm just guarding this door. The doors down here
Okay.
for the time being.
Noted. Irilyssa, what are you doing?
oh man. I'm going
Oh,
I had to chuckle at that as well.
to. I like it. How does everyone look actually?
I'm
I
fine.
wasn't paying attention to if anybody actually got hurt in that last battle.
I would say that Zagrax looks injured, but everyone else looks pretty much full.
Looks like
Zagrax
I took a stab, but I'm still doing okay. Unhindered.
Okay.
I
I was gonna say I healed myself and I still look
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
barely injured, not injured. Sorry.
Man.
Get him!
Just give us some encouragement. Be like, we can do it, guys.
We got this. Just believe in the power of the moon, Mom.
There you go.
She will. I am going to cast blindness, deafness on this Durgar.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh my lord.
Which one?
Interesting idea. con save.
Which one? Blindness or deafness?
Blindness.
Good call.
Alright, so you call out to Saloon to strike this creature down with blindness. Blindness, right?
Yep.
And unfortunately, doesn't seem to do anything.
No.
Okay.
He's just holding the rope blind. He
I
just
mean,
doesn't
that
care.
would be pretty difficult still.
He's just really hardcore.
Okay. Yeah. Then that is my action.
Okay, so he does kind of blink a few times, so that there was a reaction. It was literally nothing, but
I mean, if you could see him, you can see that his eyes are like whited out at the moment, but he just blinks it away.
yeah. Tahko.
All right. I'm going to come over here. Zagrax, get away from the door, and Sis, get ready to brace it if we need to close it in a rush. And otherwise, I'm going to ready my wand to blast anything that might come through here.
Noted. And Swift Runner's going to stand back with you as well.
Okay.
In that case, we are round to the Duragar. And this guy is going to see nothing. What does he do?
Question.
So he crouches down and starts like pulling. No, he would have seen it when it was cast. He starts pulling apart some of the vines and things that have come on the ground, searching for something. Swift Runner.
If you
Swift Runner? Probably backing up.
Yes. Okay. I keep forgetting that she's me. And you. Like, yeah, if you have a general action you want her to do, then say it. And then if she attacks, then I'll roll the attacks.
do the worm.
Elora.
She slaps down on the ground and
It's a
starts
worm.
dancing.
Honestly, Elora's just going to hold an action of Eldritch Blast if she sees the door
Oh
open.
my lord. This is the greatest initiative order I've ever seen in my entire life, by the way.
It's terrible.
Wow, that is some descending numbers.
Yeah.
Vulwin.
So this Duragar that was straight in front of me there, did you say he was the one that was pinning down, starting to...
Yes,
Right.
he's crouching down, searching for something amongst the writhing vines on the ground.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to move up here towards this window, and I'm going to shoot at one of the other one over here. I think is also holding a rope.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at that one. It's not gonna be like at his hand, but I'm still just gonna be shooting at him. So maybe it'll still cause him to like lose concentration. But
Noted.
okay, longbow, and I'm going to bonus action Hunter's Mark him.
Go for it.
And I'm gonna guess he's not taking damage, so I'm gonna still shoot. 16 to hit.
Sorry, I'm just reading one thing. Yeah, okay. 16 against that guy. That hits.
Okay, cool. He will take 18 points of damage.
He was not already injured.
Yep, that one is from Hunter's Mark.
Okay, cool. So yeah, he takes the 18 points of damage, and he is going to make a save, which he saves. So he's still holding on to onto the rope, even though he's just been shot.
Ah, shoot. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try shooting him again.
Go for
I
it.
really want him to drop that rope. Let's see, Hunter's Mark. Yes, he has taken damage. Yes, 22 to hit.
22 hits.
Yeah, and he'll take to another 20 points of damage.
Good. You just lay this guy out. Second shot, like, sends him another 5 foot back or something. He reels back, clutching the arrow that's now sticking out of him, dropping the rope as he does so, and then just slumps down and onto his backside, and then just slumps backwards.
Alright, 2 ropes down. I'm done.
Save some for the monster. Jeez.
Hey, I'm hoping the monster will rampage against the rest of them when we can.
He's gonna. They are gonna. But that is not enough. So the creature starts pulling backwards and forwards, trying to yank the rope out of the hands of the remaining two Duragar, who are now like feet properly planted in the ground, trying desperately to restrain this thing, but they seem to be getting dragged closer and closer to this thing, and look to be right on the verge of not being enough. Zagrax.
It's me! Tahko told me to step back from the door, so I'm gonna take like 2 steps back from the door, and then... What?
Other side of this door.
Oh, you want me to get all the way back? Oh, okay. Boop, boop, boop. So what was that? 5,
Yeah, that
10,
works.
15, 20, 25, 30. Okay. I'll just get back here, and then get ready to brace the door if we need to brace this door here.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's my turn.
Oh, I didn't know.
Irilyssa.
There we go.
Can we pass through these slits here? Or are
No.
they... Oh, okay.
Those are murder slits.
Yeah,
Murder.
all of these are arrow slits, so
Yep.
Yeah.
you could
If you had
not
like
pass through them.
shrinking, you could just like jump through, maybe.
Yeah, Elora could go inside her lantern and you could just hand that off.
Just throw
Toss the lantern out of it.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh, that would be really funny just to tie the lantern to an arrow, and it would be so hard to fire, but like just fire you into a room.
Right? Be like a Pokeball. Elora, go!
It is a Pokeball.
Just throw you in there, then you pop out of it. Like, don't throw my lantern!
So, Irilyssa, what are you doing?
Do I know if... This is going to be a question for Irilyssa would know this. Would Irilyssa know if dwarves can be put to sleep?
Roll an intelligence check.
They're not elves.
14.
As far as you know, they can be.
Okay. She's going to... Let's see, how big is this spell?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Nap time.
Yeah, so, centered on this Duragar, she's gonna cast Sleep.
Okay.
So she's gonna pull out a bunch of rose petals and just kind of...
If you put the spell in chat, that would be great.
Hang on.
They all pass, but the creature doesn't. The creature falls asleep.
Alright, let's take a look. So 5d8 hit points worth of creatures.
Yep, so it's 24. It rolled it already.
Check something.
I don't even think I'm gonna put one of them to sleep.
You might.
Right. No.
You might put them on to sleep.
There's a reply one.
Yeah, because it's like starting from I think with like the lowest HP, right, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Starting
starting
with a
with lowest
creature that has the
HP.
lowest current hit points, each creature is affected by this spell is unconscious until the spell ends.
So 24. So you get the rose petals and then you blow them out. Nothing seems to happen.
All of them? All of them? Wow.
And just for clarification, because I don't want to sound unfair on this, Duragar specifically are resistant to charm effects. So the way I'm interpreting that is it doubles the number of hit points required. So that would not be enough to knock out even one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's why I asked if she would know if dwarves can be put to sleep.
As far as you know, dwarves can be, but these are not dwarves.
With enough boring conversation, yeah, you can put a dwarf to sleep.
Doors.
Enough alcohol, too.
That's more difficult. They're
That's a
resistant
lot
poison.
of-
I made heavy use of that trait with my Brewmaster Dwarf.
Heck yeah.
Honestly, I think
Alright.
they probably need alcohol to go to sleep.
Alright, Tahko.
No, I'm good.
All
I
right.
have faith in my comrades. They can handle all this.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
that
I
was a
believe
really
that.
good idea. This dwarf is going to say, and he's going to drop the rope. And then he's going to go,
Run away!
and this one is going to drop the
I'm
rope.
not getting paid enough for this.
Right.
He's going to go. And this one is dead. Let me go around to the top of the initiative where I remember this one. He's going to.
Oh.
Yes, I know he takes damage, so that's 364. How would he do this? 84. Yeah, he takes 84 damage.
Okay.
This guy's like
84 damage?
84.
it's either run through it or like risk whatever this is gonna happen in a moment to him.
And as he runs, he gets around behind the creature, rips off the hood, and then drops his enlarge, and just sprints towards the mines.
Oh.
Wow. I give up. Bye.
And with that, I'm going to need Irilyssa, Vulwin, and Elora to give me a charisma save, please.
Is it an enchantment
I am just
or a
checking.
charm? A charm.
It's a spell-like ability, so I have advantage. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay. So charisma save you said, right?
Charisma.
20.
17.
Oof, 8.
Okay, so Irilyssa and Elora. As the hood is ripped away, you look up at the motion, and you stare right into this creature's eyes, and you feel your mind just start to go blank. You're not sure what's happening.
I don't know
You're
if
not
I can
sure
see this creature actually.
where you are. You can all see it through the cracks.
Oh, okay. I can see like a tenth of it over here, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
So your mind start going blank, but the creature moves, or you move slightly behind one of the arrow slits. There you go. See, they are a thing. Breaking that connection, and your mind immediately is like, I'm in the Duragar stronghold. What the hell? Volwin, being at the front of the pack, you are not as lucky, and you look right into this creature's eyes.
Peeks around.
Music starts playing, and you just fall in love. Rolling
very quickly, so I'm going to roll it myself. And your mind is just blank. You have no idea where you are. You've just seen these rose
Sounds about
petals flow past you, and you're mesmerized by the colours, and you see the brazier light reflecting off of them, and it's
Seeing
such
the world in
cool
a new
sight.
way.
Exactly.
Is this what it's like to be Tahko?
In love with this
Mind
monster?
blank.
No, this is what it's like to be Zagrax.
Oh,
Yeah. Pretty much.
Wow,
And then
look
I
at those
think
rose petals.
That is where we're going to leave off for now.
All right.
Ah, beautiful.
Pretty much at the top of this
Great.
initiative, but it is now 3 o'clock. And this is
Yeah.
the time that we would stop.
Yep.
fun.
Nice.
So,
Oh,
chat.
boy.
I am now reading chat again. Hello, everyone.
I'm gonna mute the grunt monster fighting noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stop them, so tell me if they don't go off.
Okay, will do.
They should be going off.
Yeah.
They should be off.
Macho's got a point though. I just really don't like scary creatures. I end up staring too intently at them because, you got to keep eyes wide open.
Yeah.
And also, like, this dwarf just came up and did something to him, and you're like, what was that?
Nice.
Yeah. I stare too intently. Forget to shut my eyes.
Huh. I was not sure what you were going to do in the throne room. That was an interesting encounter.
Honestly, I wouldn't have, but
I'm pretty sure you all know what the mushroom was.
it's a mushroom.
It's like a Myconid, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Right. Aren't those only in like Mordekainen's book or whatever? I don't know.
Man,
No,
their face
they're
is creepy.
They're one of the like mainstays of the Underdark. Like Drow, Durga, and Myconids.
Okay.
Mhm.
Myconids.
They
I
have
actually
such
made
creepy
them-
faces.
I actually made them go to war with a town that my players were defending one time, and they had walls, so they just, were shooting at them from behind the walls, and then they just started throwing like the mushrooms over the walls, so the spores would go off in there and infect them. It was fun times.
It was funny because Tahko, you did exactly the right thing. You stepped forward, threw your javelin, then backed off. Their range, and they have to use an action to do it, is 30 feet.
Oh.
I was like,
See? I don't know.
Taco's
That's
just
it.
like, I didn't have any more range attacks.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I realized that the fire wand would probably be a lot better than these javelins, so that's what I went
Yeah.
for.
True.
And yeah, I found it really difficult to pass this whole area because there's so many arrow slits. So like, would the Forge know what you guys are doing? Because that's a big freaking problem if they do.
Yeah.
But I just
I
kind
don't
of
know.
said it's so noisy in there, and they're also kind of intent on the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of noise from up in the throne room anyway because the Duragar were having at the Myconid, so it's just like, oh, maybe it got loose, and they're having a bit of a scuffle. Oh well.
I'm wondering what the relationship was between the Quaggoth, the bear creatures, and the Myconid, because it seemed like even the ones that weren't undead were still like buddies with it.
No. The one that was
No?
standing there had just ripped off his arm, so no.
Yeah.
Had just ripped off his arm. Okay, I think it was just holding it for him.
Yeah. That thing was not in a good way.
My thought at that point was like, oh no, this thing is a captive and we're killing it.
It 100% was, and you just
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But
See,
the funny
there's,
thing is, Duragar flipping hate these guys, so in their eyes,
Yeah.
they're evil.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, Duragar says they're evil, but like, that might mean they're not evil.
It's all
Well, there's a difference
perspective.
between Myconid and Myceloids, or whatever they're called.
And Taco doesn't care about the difference. Gotta kill.
I do. You told me it was evil, so I'm going to kill it.
Damn.
What? We don't want to
I
leave
don't know
evil stuff
anything. I
around, do
just
we?
know. I knew what that icon was. I don't know anything about them.
Sorry,
So
I just
don't
need to.
even know.
I'm just thinking back. Taco's like, oh, that stuff's evil. We don't need to kill it. Let's talk to a hag. That's not evil.
I mean,
It wasn't a hag,
yeah,
that was your girlfriend.
All she wanted
I
was
mean,
a
it
hug.
can, it can be one and the same, but it's
I
not.
don't want to judge.
They
I,
can't
uh,
talk either,
The other
right?
encounter I really wasn't sure how it was going to go was for the mechanic. So the way as it's written is the two Duragar that are in the workshop are supposed to be the mechanics, and I kind of forgot. I just read over that. So I said, okay, it's the one Duragar who's left. And like, what the hell is he going to do? Is one guy left? This is hardly worth running an encounter for. So I just made him the mechanic instead.
That's fun.
That makes sense.
Surprised Taco
Mostly-
didn't go and kill him.
Mostly Taco just wasn't. He's like, I'm not going to be afraid of mushroom. That's stupid. So I just did that.
Taco's got a real inferiority complex when it comes to mushrooms.
Well, I don't want to seem weak in front of my sister.
Oh, were
so-
you forced to eat like mushrooms as a kid? Like you kept getting served mushrooms. You're like, I hate mushrooms.
I have a weird family dynamic being around my
Yeah,
sister.
I can tell.
Yeah, a bit more foolhardy than even normal. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to make more use of Swift Runner. She's been a bit quiet down here. It's just like my mind is on so many other things, like running an extra NPC who's just kind of there to hit stuff.
Right.
Yep.
that's fine.
Yep.
She's just kind of there to support us, I think.
Mhm.
Which is good, but yeah.
I can't believe for all that shooting, I didn't like. I didn't get to kill the mushroom. I was so intent on that. Yeah,
Oh,
Irilyssa
I
got
kill.
that kill, right?
I
You
killed
did
it.
so much damage to it. Like that 12 damage is 24 because vulnerable to fire. Just like that's a third of his health just gone.
Oh my god.
Right. I'm surprised how long it lasted too. But I mean, he was a big one. So.
60
did
hit
miss
points.
it
Yeah, that was a
several
Myconid
times.
Sovereign. Head honcho.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, good. We killed the Mushroom King.
Yeah,
Wow.
we
Yep.
did.
Well, you know.
We didn't know.
We killed
Could have asked, you know.
I don't. Do they even have languages? Can they even talk?
You didn't get
So-
close enough to find out.
Yeah, we didn't even
So-
say, "Hey, how's it going over there, evil mushroom?"
I can say that once you breathe in the spores, then they can communicate telepathically.
Oh.
They
But
don't
not the
actually
ones
have
he filled the
mouths.
room with. So that one
Yeah,
is it's an alarm. So every myconid within, I think it's like 300 feet, knows that they're under attack.
Yeah.
Maybe there aren't any more around here.
those spores were how it screams.
Yes, exactly.
Ah,
Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
The
I
more
kind
you
of got.
know.
Yeah, I kind of got the impression. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's got to be something to denote something," and it's not to make these guys come and attack us because that thing's captive. So,
It was fun watching its reservation and acceptance of death.
but hey, I didn't kill it.
It was on 4 hit points. Just like he's restrained, he's tied down. Like what else can he do? He's
Yeah.
adamantly refusing to get into range for him to do anything. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh well, had a good
You
run.
know.
He could have
Freedom.
tried. He could have tried. What's it called? Not Pictionary, but charades. He could have tried charades. It's like,
How? He had no arms.
He had one arm.
Don't kill me. He had one arm for a while. I don't know.
Not at that
Tahko
point.
still would have done it.
That's true.
Oh, well.
I probably still would have killed him.
And also,
Oh,
like this
gosh.
creature is completely alien in communication. Like it's a telepath.
Yeah.
Has no use for physical communication.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, maybe I would have been able to discern a few things without, you know, it speaking directly in my mind. I mean, it's kind of a plant, sort of. Alien plant.
Well, also, I mean, they captured this thing and kept it alive, so I figure they were probably using it to make undead warriors
oh,
or something. So I figured it was probably good for it to be annihilated anyway.
does
Was
this
that good
mean you're
logic?
I mean,
Does this-
Elora was just like, "Oh gosh, I need to have it so you don't die," and so she just she like didn't want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah, we did clear out the captors and
Yeah.
the captive.
And all the dog guys.
What were you trying to say there, Irilyssa?
Does this mean that Irilyssa is now a king killer?
Yes,
Kingslayer.
you are indeed a regicide.
So
Yeah,
why
does
did all
everybody
the
have beef now?
Kingslayer.
Quaggoth attack us then?
Oh, because they're aggressive.
That's
Yeah,
it?
because
I don't know.
they were farming spores, and we were killing the thing that was creating the spores.
No,
Yeah,
those
the
are
one Quaggoth that was in the room was like the boss Quaggoth, and he basically said, "You're killing the guys that I had a scheme for. Stop that."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, see, we could have gone in and talked to them and been like, "Hey, let's be friends."
I don't know their language.
Yeah, cut us in on this cool deal you've got going here.
Yeah,
All right.
help us destroy the stupid dragon thing, and we'll not kill your weird mushroom thing.
No.
I'm glad that actually was an evil mushroom thing instead of the good mushroom race. So they could have just lied to us.
I mean, we don't know that.
Everything
Well,
down here is evil
Tahko-
right now.
Tahko doesn't even know that mushrooms are sentient. All I know is that the thing was evil and made undead.
Okay, all I'll say is, looking at that thing's picture, it had like 2 eyes, and it was creepy looking.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was looking right at you.
Yeah, they're all really creepy looking. Doesn't mean they're evil, but you know,
True.
it doesn't matter if they're dead.
Next week's going to be interesting. Now that you've actually had a look into the forge and you can see everything in there.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Now we just bar the doors and wait for it to get quiet. Someone's got to win.
Bar the doors. You guys are all the way back at the end of the hallway. Okay.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Vulwin is struck dumb.
Hey, you don't know. I'm just there,
Exactly.
just aiming, and then I'm just standing there.
I expect the doors at some point to swing open and I'll like burn them, and if they try and like rush me, then we'll just close the doors. But I don't expect to get like mind struck. when
With the dragon, didn't you mention there was a dragon right to the right, and you don't expect to get mind struck?
It's fine. You got the
That's
bright
true.
one with you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the bright one.
Yep.
right.
He's gonna purify the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with my hammer.
I hope so.
Maybe this time.
I really hope so.
One thing I will
so
mention
many
is
pieces.
it explicitly says that the ceiling in that room is 30 feet high.
Oh,
Explicitly.
okay, good.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cool.
Wonderful.
That means all I have to do is pick up Zagrax and hold him up, and then he can hit it all he likes.
Dragon
it
is
30
20
feet in the
feet,
forge
so
room?
yeah.
Or just the room that we're in now?
The forge.
No,
Okay. Oh, sick.
I think that's actually
That's
like
great.
taller.
It shitteth upon dragon.
Let me check that actually.
Oh, no.
they're not opening up the door for it to escape anytime soon either.
Because it did also say the throne room is 30.
Oh,
Interesting.
Also, I'm so glad that inflict wounds worked.
Yeah. That would have been
Yeah,
very
it did.
sad if it did.
yeah, dude. Isn't it great just melting somebody?
Does
Really gives
inflict
you a real
wounds get
rush.
consumed if it doesn't hit?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So yes, you
Oh,
would have
interesting.
wasted a level 3 spell.
Mhm. That's why I generally try and make sure I'm flanking when I use it.
That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Well, I was trying to eke out a surprise attack for it, but
Yeah, tunnels are 10 feet high, rooms are 15, and the forge is 30.
Wow.
It makes sense. Nice and comfy in there. Gotta let all that heat rise to the top.
Also means I can always Misty step up to it and bonk it. Or at least attempt to.
Yeah.
If it starts flying.
You
I
can
want to see
certainly
you.
try.
Yeah, Zagrax. I want to see you make true of that lore now. This heroic lore that you've.
Oh, that I was the one who went and dealt a crap ton of damage to it.
Yep.
When I
Yeah.
didn't deal a single point of damage to it.
oh,
I don't
Oh,
think
so-
I did a single point of damage.
this
Dragon,
will all
Tahko sister, it's the same thing.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I really like the two Durgar that were standing guard and we're just kind of like after it, kind of looking like, oh man, that whole room's cleared out.
Yeah.
I
also
was
love
like,
that-
I thought it was a little bit too jovial for Duragar, but I was going to have them just like look out the side and just be like,
Good luck.
we're
But
standing
who
here
are you?
guarding. You know.
Yeah. I love the fact that we didn't even like attempt at any point to say the keyword with those two guys who popped out and started shooting.
Yeah, no.
They
screw
popped
that.
out and started shooting. It's unfortunate, but you know,
That's war.
Oh.
we're under no obligation to keep them alive technically.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is going to go great. I'm looking forward to next week. We'll just bar the doors, wait till the sound stops, double check, smash up the dragon, and then have some fresh roasted mushroom before we leave.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, but that dude is there, and we don't see him because I'm pretty sure he's behind the dragon. But that dude's there.
He'll get
Yeah,
eaten by
the dragon we have to destroy, that we came here to destroy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have seen
Or not.
movement around the dragons. You know that there is someone
Yeah.
or some other things
Yep.
Mhm.
I
around
can
it.
see his little token, and it looks like Dumbledore.
Yeah, he does have a big bushy white beard. To be fair,
There's like, dang, I knew Dumbledore was evil.
it's actually a really cool token. That one.
Oh, yeah?
Hang on, I'll see if I can bring up a better version. It would have to be.
He does
on
kind of look
that
like
side.
Dumbledore.
I need to be careful how I do this because it'll show all the hit points and things.
Uh-oh, don't do it.
And
Don't
yes,
do it.
Macho, my part of my point in being here is that even after we're gone, I want the leader lady that's going to take over to just look through and be like, holy crap, we better not ever piss off the surfacers again. They ruin everything.
That's a fair point, actually.
Like, I didn't even know that anything was capable of this kind of damage.
No, you haven't met Tahko.
Exactly.
Honestly, the mechanic has probably got the best lot out of all of it. Not being dead and all, and just being able to create stuff still.
And a lot of job security now.
Yeah. I don't know. This is pretty standard diplomacy.
Here we go. I think this is fairly safe. Yeah, should be. Alright, do I have this set up to show the right-hand side? And everything. So it's actually pretty well detailed.
We'll see if we can have
My
a good
judge just said the
conversation
stream
next
lost
week.
sound.
Oh, really?
What, really?
Yeah.
No.
The sound again.
Silence.
Is it because did you change to a different scene?
How interesting.
That would do it.
Yep, seems that way. Okay, noted.
We went to talk about the man, it goes away. It's like, well, you'll never quite know what we talked about then.
Sounds like we got to get that crown.
Or we can ask him to tell us the whole story about the crown. We're just hanging out.
We'll just take it and we'll put it on one of our heads and just deal with the consequences.
Look. This is where we find out that it was all a misunderstanding. This dragon didn't really go out and do everything it did to the 10 towns.
It was its twin brother.
Yep. That Gandalf miniaturized and pretend to be a little servo dragon. You know, it's true stories.
I had a friend once that his character put on a crown, a random crown he found, and then he ended up massacring an entire town because the crown took him over. Not sure putting on that random crown would be great.
I mean,
you'll probably do it.
Yeah, I probably will. I mean, it's probably there's a chance it's not the Duragar at all, but it's the crown that's in control. Not the Tahko knows that.
I really like the idea that Taco's like, hey, you want to see something cool? He puts on the skull and then puts on the crown on the skull.
Then they fight for superiority.
Oh, that'd be funny.
That is a good point. If you do end up having two mind control effect items, which one wins?
They'd have to do ego checks against you, or against, I guess, each other too. It's interesting.
Well, I would assume it's probably based on like power. So like if one's obviously more powerful than the other, it probably just takes over. But if they're equally powered, then they like just fight each other and whichever one wins?
That would be so cool.
It's basically a will save each day to see who can take control.
Yeah, that would be so cool to have a character that had like a ton of cursed items on him, that was actually pretty competent, but like every day was under the influence of like a different item. He's got stuck on him.
Oh my gosh, you could be a multiple personality character, but the multiple personalities, like they actually
Just
only
different
have
whims
one
every day.
personality. Yeah, and you never know which one's real because they're all isolated from each other, kind
You
of.
just roll a dice at the start of every day. Say, okay, I'm that guy this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the previous days, like agenda is like, all right, cool. We don't need to do this anymore. We got to do something else now.
Yeah, each one has their own agenda. I like the idea that they're aware of each other and like they can curse at each other through the guy's head.
Oh,
it'd be wonderful.
That's how I imagine a hive mind to be like. Damn it, Joe! Why are you doing that, you idiot? You can see what you're doing. Like that's what's happening in Danica's head all the time.
You're a hive mind. If I'm an idiot, you're also an idiot.
They're all sitting at the poker table to see who has the best hand and takes control for that day.
They call it hive mind because the rest of you are as stupid as insects.
I mean, that's kind of the scary thing. Is if I'm understanding this right, when a mind flayer dies, they still are in the hive mind. So
cool.
Danica's head is full of probably dead mind flayers who are just hanging out.
That would make sense.
Yeah, as long as you have access to the like the mind crystal or whatever it is, then
weave.
Their spirits linger.
They're all like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool. You just go, steal some people and put frog eggs in them. That'd be real cool.
That could be fun.
You should do that.
Good time. Hey, it worked out for them.
Yeah, that's like one of the things. Like how far do I take Danica? That's one of the quandaries I have.
To the moon.
She is
to get more cheese.
She is being she's not being controlled by. She is still free-willed, but she's being influenced by mind flayers. But then again, they're ceramorphs. They're not true mind flayers. Ceramorphs aren't evil in the same way that mind flayers.
Gnome.
Yeah.
People.
Didn't we establish they're just mooncheese thieves that have tried to flee and then were taken up by the what was it? The space force?
Defenses.
Space Defense Force. Yeah.
Well,
Crash landed.
Once this adventure is over, Irilyssa is going to state the sacred meal of the House of Guiding Light, the fondue.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bring forth the holy sacrament. And yea, it is in her name that we heat the fondue.
It's in her name that we heed. That's funny.
Honestly, it's good meat. It would be perfect there.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
I'm very fondue of that idea.
Wow.
Da-dum. You're excommunicated.
Yeah.
No, jokes are absolutely not tolerated.
Fine then, I'll just join the Bright Ones cult.
We accept
Well,
hummus,
the only
but
one
not
with
humour.
cold now. Oh.
Anyway, chat, do you have any questions or anything for us before we draw this one to a close? For the madness that will be here next week. Probably.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you would reach the forge today or not.
Mm-hmm.
Reached it, just
Just
get in.
barely.
We could have
Thanks
reached it
to-
earlier without it all extra fighting too. Imagine that.
Zone of
Would you really want the evil mushroom at our back when we were in there?
Yeah.
I mean, debatable.
I mean,
So
that's
the
the
real
interesting
question
thing.
is-
Like, the two ways in are quite different in the things that you face.
Hmm.
Oh well.
So the real question is if the mushroom would have been nice to us and if we would have saved it from those things, would it have we could just kind of like shove it into the mine and then it takes control over the Durgar in there?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Probably wouldn't work like that, but
Who knows?
Maybe.
It's intelligent. There's a chance we could have bartered with it, but it could have just melted our faces off too, or diseased us.
Actually, the one other thing which is on this map, so is a picture of Sunblight Citadel itself. Hang on, let me copy across to that. Again, sorry chat, you're not going to be able to hear us because I'm moving back.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I was just saying is up here you've got the top level with the sky doors, then you've got the mid level with the passage up the side, which is where they met Grandolpha, and the forge is actually down here. So it's not underground, you're not going into the Underdark, which I saw some people commenting on. It's at like floor level.
How did they smooth the stone on the outside? Did they have like hanging from ropes, just like quick, scrub it down? Gotta
No, there
smooth
used to
that
be another
outside.
mountain on the side, and they just mined all of that out.
Yeah.
Mine out a whole
I don't
mountain?
know, Jimbo.
You had me. You had me, man.
They have a group of druids
That's
and
plausible.
they just use mold earth.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
We're not fighting any druids though, thankfully. So.
Yeah, they killed them all afterwards.
Oh, okay.
They use the heat from the dragon heart to just melt it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, pour the lava down the side of the mountain. That
They put
works.
all the druids inside the dragon heart, and that's how they
Oh.
made the Shardland dragon.
oh.
Hmm.
I look-
Also, I was gonna say, since we're not doing that anymore, I was gonna one of the dragon abilities that I have now is the dragon's breath can push people back 20 feet. So one of the things I was gonna do is if they got close enough, was use that and shove everybody in a 15-foot cone back 20 feet through the thorns.
Oh man,
no,
no.
No.
Beautiful.
But
That would've been
then I
really
did
funny.
it with the shield first because they weren't bunched up enough for my liking, and then the whole involuntary movement thing. I was like, oh, it won't work like that.
And you're right, like that is such a good spell against zombie-like creatures because they just go through it. They'll take the shortest route to their target. I was so happy when I was like looking over the Quaggoth stats. I was like, climbing speed.
Ah.
I don't know whether or not it's better to be a zombie-like creature and just move through it, or be an intelligent creature and realize you need to move through it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you're stuck in the middle, that was like a different game we had played where that happened to a cleric that was stuck in the very middle and had nowhere to go, and it was stuck in a field of a zone of silence on top of that. So it was like,
That's right. I remember that. That was you and me.
it was you and I, yeah.
Nice.
At that point, you just sit down in the middle of it, just like.
Let's
Yeah.
go wait.
I mean, that's a great defensive thing too. If you have a bunch of people who have to get in melee range with you, is you cast it
Yeah.
right at your own feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Dragon making notes here.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but then you're standing on the spikes. It's got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Except
but
you're
you
not
don't
moving,
move.
so they don't do any damage. It's only if you move through them.
Yeah.
That's why the
Yeah.
mushrooms
Oh,
just
I know.
stayed still.
I'm not saying do damage. I'm still saying uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Actually,
more
mushrooms
definitely.
stood
comfortable
still
than getting
'cause he's
bopped on
shackled.
for free. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although in the description they didn't actually say anything about the Myconid being shackled, but I just kind of said, they think that this thing is super dangerous. Of course it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So I was thinking that it was braced by its arms, so the one in there was helping it by ripping his arms off because it didn't have the keys.
No.
That's weird.
Like it's just a mushroom; it can regrow new arms.
So the story behind that is it stopped doing the spores because he didn't want them collecting them to reanimate corpses, and then the Quaggoth just ripped his arm off so he'd start doing it again.
Nice.
Nice.
Torture.
Yay, torture.
Oh, well, at least now I know what that does.
Yeah.
At least
Not
it's,
Irilyssa does.
Hey,
No.
yeah,
out of
that's
its
true.
misery? Question mark.
Yeah, after burning it alive.
A highly flammable creature. Yep.
Yep.
It
That's
died
the
a
fix of
holy
misery.
death. It's fine.
And actually, that was another thing. Like, slight spoilers, but Myconids aren't actually vulnerable to fire. But I kind of went, they really should be because mushrooms are
Yeah.
super flammable.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just mushroom people.
Yep.
Which is cool in itself, but
And I'm trying my best to differentiate radiant damage from fire. Because in my mind, radiant always
Yeah.
meant fire, but no, I think it's more like radiation. So that's how I treat it. Radiant's radiation now.
oh yeah, that does make sense. Ooh, that's very
It is.
scary.
Yeah.
hate
Because I mean,
that.
it's like necrotic, right? Necrotic has
Yeah.
that terrible feature to it. And it's like radiant's like, yeah, holy light that actually just doesn't quite
Melts
burn
your
you.
face.
It like sears you.
Yeah,
We
that's
did
why the
the
damage is
same
always
thing,
from
but the
within, so it's
opposite.
like bubbles and seepage.
Yeah. hmm
Yay!
Whereas
Microwave.
necrotic is like imbuing with disease, so it's like pustules.
Radiant damage sounds a lot less holy.
Mhm.
Yep.
There'll be
That's
holes
why our
in it.
vengeance paladin can use it.
But like, I always struggled with that. Like, if it does radiant damage and radiant's just fire, then why doesn't it just do fire damage? Like, why explicitly say radiant? And in that case, what is radiant?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why does it exist if it's the same thing?
Takes
Like-
the power of the sun.
I can kind of understand this. Like, undead specifically are vulnerable to radiant. Okay, but how does it affect normal creatures? Well, it's a fire.
Yeah.
It's a holy fire. Okay, so how's that different from a normal fire? Does it just do fire damage? No, it's radiant.
It's like sunburn damage. It's
Yeah,
radiation.
it's like the sun. Yeah.
It's not a flamethrower. I'm just beaming you with a giant laser of sunlight to cook you from the
Pretty
inside out
much. Pretty much.
Yay!
instead of from the outside in,
Mhm.
which is worse.
It's like getting microwaved
Mhm.
by a holy microwave.
Mhm.
And within the
Have
holy
been blessed.
microwave, we shall prepare the fondue. And yay, so it
Phase
was
B.
done.
Phase B to microwave.
Praise be to the
Deus
Make sure to-
microwave.
Make sure to stab your enemies with the fork first, or else they may explode.
Oh my god.
Is it like super effective versus metal at that point? Like, how does that work?
Should be. That's heat
Honest-
metal.
Yeah, that's heat metal. So if you are a follower of Mikawave, you could get heat metal as well.
Now I really want to do
That's
a
a
sci-fi
terrible
game where
spell.
the god is Mikoave.
Mikoave.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got the Church of Atom, and now we've got the Church of Mikoave as well.
Mikoave.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, that right there is one shot worthy. Absolutely.
Oh,
Boy.
And on that note, I'm going to say thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, be sure to hit that follow button so you get notifications when we are live again in the future, which will be next Sunday, where we will probably have the grand showdown between the Shardolin Dragon, Zardaroth, if he's around, and the party. So if you want to see that, and if you want to support the if you want to support the channel, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to see that, then just join us next week, because you can do that. It's Twitch, it's free.
Yeah.
That's it from us. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Yep.
Goodbye.
I just punched my computer.